What's up, Chaos Shinobi here. This is What If Naruto Had the Kamigan. Summary: Naruto awakened his family bloodline, the Kamigan, after a brutal attack by the villagers of Konoha. However, Kyuubi's influence turned it into something else. The birth of a new bloodline. Chapter 1: Awakened Eyes. Konohagakure no Sato is considered as one of the strongest villages in the elemental nations. The village, known for its extraordinary strength in the shinobi arts, easily rose from the devastation caused by the Kyubi attack 8 years ago. Peace has reigned in the village after a few years of the destruction, but was relatively broken by the sound of a mob chasing an 8-year-old boy with blonde hair, blue eyes, and 3 whisker marks on both his cheeks. The boy's name is Uzumaki Naruto. The boy, Uzumaki Naruto, was used to this kind of treatment from the villagers. He didn't know the reason why he is being hated and that he deserved this kind of animosity from everyone. But his 8-year-old mind was busy trying to find ways to survive from his current ordeal than to ponder the mysteries that seemed to pronounce this fate. Despite his malnourished state, Naruto used his small body to outrun the mob. His stamina was considered the best in the village, able to outrun the Anbu or Chunins chasing him to catch him in one of his pranks, but it seems like today is not one of his lucky days. He found himself in one of the dead-end alleys that blocked his escape. He tried to find a way out of this predicament, but, alas, he resigned himself to his fate for another round of beatings. "Finally we caught you, demon brat!" a villager shouted after cornering the cowering blonde holding a pitchfork in front of him, ready to impale the boy. "Today we are going to finish what the Ondaime started. We are going to kill you, demon!" another villager ranted, brandishing a cleaver. Shouts of "kill the demon," "destroy the brat," and other expletives were coming out of the crowd. For Naruto, all of this means nothing but a load of pain and suffering if he ever gets out of this alive. The first attack came in the form of kunais, which he barely avoided except for a couple impaling him on the legs and shoulders. It seems that there were also ninjas in the group, but the lack of the usual shinobi garb hid their presence well. The rest of the villagers took this as a signal to start their vengeance and fell on the boy with their chosen weapons. He was stabbed in the stomach with a kunai, his arms were sliced by a cleaver, his right shoulder was stabbed by a pitchfork. He was beaten to every inch of his life, which left him with bruises and more bleeding. He was in unbearable pain, his entire body ached from the various stab wounds and cuts. He was curled on the alley floor and tried to stand, but a sudden pain made him fall back on the ground, gasping for breath. It seems that his legs were broken, as well as his left arm. Despite the torture that he went through, he was still conscious. "Why? What did I do to you people?" he gasped out, tears leaking out from his face. One of the villagers looked at him, sneering. "Why, you ask? Because you are a demon. We are just exercising our civic duty to finish what the fourth started. To kill you and end your miserable existence, demon." With that, he swung down his katana, aiming to decapitate the boy. Naruto saw the sword and time seemed to slow down. His pitiful existence flashed before his very eyes. He recalled all the beatings, the ridicule, and the insult. He was wondering why he was clinging to life so hard, and it would be a blessing for him to just die and meet his parents in the afterlife. But before he was about to give up, he recalled one conversation he had with his surrogate grandfather, the Hokage, during one of their ramen trips. Flashback: Naruto was enjoying his 5th bowl of ramen with his Hokage Gigi. He enjoyed hanging out with the old man that he treated as a grandfather, along with the Ichiraku ramen family that fed him when he was out of food. In fact, there were only a few people in Konoha that treated Naruto like one of them. One of them being the Hokage, the Ichiraku family consisting of old man Tuchi and his daughter Ayame, and of course the 2 Anbu guards that he considered as older brothers, Weasel and Dog. The Hokage was astounded with Naruto's spirit. Despite being subjected to the villagers' stupidity and constant beatings, he was still that little ball of energy with a smile on his face that he loved, someone that he considered to be his grandson. "So Naruto, what are your plans in the future?" the Hokage asked while the boy was about to start on his 6th bowl. Naruto paused his attack on the poor ramen bowl and thought for a bit. "Well, I want to gain the villagers' respect. I'll do anything to make them love me," he declared with a fierce determination that reminded the Hokage of the will of fire that the Shodaimon Nidaime preached during his apprenticeship. "Well, my boy, how are you planning to do that?" the Hokage asked, amused over the boy's declaration. "I'm going to become the strongest ninja in the world," shouted Naruto, which made the old man laugh in amusement. "Oh, that is quite a claim, my boy. I will become the best Gigi, and I'm going to take that hat away from you when I do," the boy declared, his eyes burning with determination. The Hokage didn't doubt that the boy would deliver his promise in the future, and he would be more than happy to give it to him when the time is right. "Well, if you want to become a ninja, then you need to attend the academy soon," he mused. "Really? Great. I'm going to be a ninja." The boy bounced on his seat, excited over the prospect of getting started on his dream. "Relax, Naruto. You're still too young to join the academy, but you will soon. I promise you that," said the Hokage. "Sure, Gigi." The boy quipped, then suddenly gave him a foxy grin. "Hey Gigi, can I try your hat on?" Giving him the puppy look. He really hated Naruto when he resorted to this deadly weapon of mass destruction. He coughed and looked away to avoid the temptation in giving in to his demands. "Oh no, you don't, Naruto. Finish your bowl of ramen so I can get you home for the night," said the Hokage, laughing at Naruto's defeated face. This has been one of their favorite game, Naruto trying to coax the cage hat away from him. They've been at this since Naruto was 3 years old. Naruto just shrugged and backed down for now and attacked the innocent ramen bowl in front of him. He will get the hat soon enough and achieve his dream. End of flashback. When he recalled the memory, determination gripped his entire being. He will not give up now. He will continue to live until he achieved his goal to become the strongest ninja in the world and take the hat away from the old man. A sudden warmth seemed to flow from his stomach and seems to flow to every part of his body, washing away the aches and pains. He didn't notice that the various cuts and bruises healed, his entire body covered by a mysterious light. He felt the warmth spread over his body and onto his eyes, then the world exploded in a world of colors: red, blue, green, brown, and white. The villagers were scared. One moment they were beating the crap out of the demon brat and was about to shout for joy as one of their number delivered a decapitating swing to end the demon's life when something happened that shook them to the very core of their being. The boy's body was suddenly covered by a multicolored aura. The sword swing was stopped in its track by a sudden wall of wind that blew the items in the alley floor all over the place. The boy threw his right arm out, palm forward, and a sudden wall of water appeared that pushed everyone back, including the one that was about to end his life. The mob was sputtering and started to pull themselves back on their feet when they noticed the boy at the end of the alley. The shock that hit them was nothing compared to the emotions that they felt when they saw the boy, standing. All of his wounds started healing in front of their eyes. But that is not what caused them to almost wet themselves. The aura surrounded the boy separated into 5, one for each color, and formed a ball. The red aura formed into a sphere of fire and placed itself beside the boy a few inches beside his right thigh, releasing wisps of smoke as if it burned the very air around it. The blue aura formed into water that appeared out of thin air, and settled beside the left thigh, releasing small drop of water that fell on the alley floor. The green seemed to be a ball of wind, spinning like a small tornado on the boy's right arm. The brown aura absorbed the loose earth at the boy's feet, forming a spinning ball of rocks and dirt on the boy's left. The white ball seemed to cackle with electricity and situated itself on top of the boy's head. However, what they saw that almost shit themselves was the boy's eyes. The iris was now a solid gold and the pupil was replaced by a 5-pointed inverted star and glowing an eerie white. Dog, one of the Hokage's personal Anbu, was speeding to the location where he felt a huge spike of chakra on the west side of the village. It was supposed to be his turn to watch Naruto, but the latest release of his Icha Icha series was none to be ignored. The chakra spike was Naruto, and that only spelled trouble. He arrived at a scene that made his blood run cold and his rage almost overwhelming him. The mob cornered Naruto in one of the deserted alleys in the commercial district, and one of them was about to swing his sword to behead his charge. He was about to interfere when something happened that almost made him shit in his pants. What he saw made him curse. Oh shit! Naruto was standing. The energy that he felt disappeared, but it left him refreshed, and the lingering warmth made him feel powerful, invincible even. He saw that the mob was a few feet away from him, staring at him with awe and fear that almost made him laugh. He checked himself to see why he wasn't hurting anymore, but what he saw shocked him to the very core. There, surrounding him, were 5 balls of something, 2 beside his thighs, 2 on his arms, and 1 just a bit above his head in front of him. What is happening? What are these things? Naruto asked himself. He was brought out from his thoughts when one of the villagers shouted, "The demon is doing something." A large villager shouted, "The demon is escaping." Another ranted, "Let's get him." 2 of the villagers charged forward, one carrying a cleaver and the other carrying the katana that almost chopped his head off. He crossed his arms to shield himself from their attacks when something happened that scared him. The red ball flared and emitted a stream of red-hot fire that surrounded him, effectively cutting off the attack with a wall of flame. The charging villagers stopped their attacks and were starting at the wall of flame with fear in the eyes. What just happened? Thought Naruto, not believing what just happened. The red ball that looked like fire just protected him with a wall of flame. He was snapped out of his thoughts by a voice in the back of his head. "Snap out of it, kid. This is no time to solve the mysteries of the universe." The voice said sarcastically. "Who are you?" asked Naruto, now freaking out because of what happened. The appearance of the wall of flame scared him, but the voice in his head definitely freaked him out. "Who I am will be answered later. You need to defend yourself against them." The voice commanded with urgency. "How am I supposed to do that? There are a lot of them and I can't run since I'm stuck," demanded Naruto. Naruto was pulled out from his rant when some of the villagers started throwing knives at him. Not knowing what to do, he instinctively threw his arms out, hoping to stop what was about to happen. This time, the ball of spiraling wind on his right seemed to sense his thoughts and release a strong gust of wind that blew the projectiles away from him. Now what happened? Not believing his eyes when the wind suddenly appeared and blew the flying kunais away from him. "Man, you're practically an idiot." The voice growled in amusement. "Hey! I'm not an idiot. Get out of my head, whoever you are," ranted Naruto. "Okay kid, listen up. I'm not going to explain this again and we are in a hurry if we want to get out of this alive. Those things floating around you will protect you. All you need to do is to will them to do so." "What? Now is not the time to give you an explanation. We can do that later when we are out of this mess. Just think of what you want them to do and they will do it. Now attack." Not wanting to get shouted at by the mysterious voice in his head, he followed the advice. He commanded the wind to throw the villagers away, and it did. The ball of wind suddenly expanded and released a small tornado that tore through the mob like a charging bull. Pressing his advantage, he swung his left hand and pointed a finger at the group, willing the fire to scare them away. The wall of flames that surrounded him flared to life, taking the form of a dragon, and flew to the shivering mob, burning about half of them in the process. The screams they released made Naruto lose his concentration, so both the flames and the wind died down. One of the ninjas in the crowd saw this and threw another barrage of kunais, hoping to get a clean hit to end the demon's life. Naruto saw this and acted on instinct again. A wall of water appeared in front of him, apparently fed by the blue orb on his side that protected him from the barrage. Wanting to get out of this predicament as soon as possible, Naruto threw his arms forward, praying to get rid of the mob so he can go see the old man to explain what's happening. What happened was both amazing and scary at the same time. The orb of light on top of his head released a relentless assault of pure lightning that practically tore through the mob, killing some of them while making the rest run like cowards. After a few minutes, the alley looked like it came out of a war zone. The mobs who were electrocuted were groaning in pain, while the rest were passed out from getting the worst shock of their life. Various scorches littered the walls and the alley floor was pockmarked with holes when hit by his attacks. Naruto was on his knees, panting in exhaustion, but noticed that the 5 spheres were encircling him in a protective fashion. Seeing that there were no more threats around, he allowed himself to relax and to regain his lost breath. "Nice work there, kid. The last attack was a bit excessive, but for your first time, it wasn't so bad," complimented the voice. He was about to retort, but the exhaustion was too much for him to handle, so he blacked out into unconsciousness. The dog-masked Onbu was shocked to say the least. What he saw almost made him crap his pants. The kid, who was just 8 years old, released powerful elemental attacks and defense that made most Jounins look like toddlers. He was knocked out of his shock when he saw the boy fall into unconsciousness. He disappeared from his perch on the roof and appeared next to the boy and was surprised that the elemental spheres didn't attack him. He made his way slowly to the unconscious boy, hoping that his approach won't trigger the boy's defense, and was surprised that it didn't. He picked up the boy and ran to the hospital to have him checked and to report to the Hokage about what happened. Chapter 2, Meeting Kyubi. Naruto woke up facing the whitewashed ceiling of the hospital. He hated the place. He always ends up in one of the medical wards after the beatings he gets from the villagers. He was lucky that he heals fast, or else he would be staying here for months with the injuries he keeps getting from the mobs. One of the doctors that he befriended even joked once that he should get one of the beds plated with his name since he was a regular customer of the place. He looked around to realize that he was alone. From the lack of light, it would seem that it is already evening, so he must have been sleeping for quite a while. He stretched out the kinks on his body and found the lack of pain from his earlier beating to be a blessing. He swore that Kami gifted him with it so he would remain alive from the beatings he gets from the villagers. Seeing a pitcher of water on the table beside his bed, he proceeded to pour himself a cup to water down his parched throat. He remembered what happened and looked around. He noticed the absence of the colorful orbs that he saw during the encounter with the mobs. He was depressed about that though. Those skills that he demonstrated would have been very handy, not to mention that it would be cool to have around. Everything that happened must have been a dream, thought Naruto. No kid. You didn't dream anything. He almost lost his grip on the glass of water he was holding. The voice was back. It wasn't a dream then. You're there, whoever you are. I thought everything that happened was a dream, said Naruto, already freaking out. After all, he heard from one of the doctors that if you have a voice in your head that you talk to, then you are definitely crazy. Nope. Not a dream. Everything you remembered from yesterday really happened. The voice replied with an amused tone. If it wasn't a dream, then how come I don't see any of those flying thingies? Challenged Naruto. Because the ability is turned off at the moment. It wouldn't be much of a bloodline if it's turned on all the time. I mean really, if you were a ninja, you would be spotted a mile away with your elemental orbs flying around you all the time. Elemental orbs? Asked Naruto, now confused with everything that happened. Come into your mind, all will be explained. With that, Naruto felt his consciousness being grabbed by something. He passed out again for the second time that day, his glass of water forgotten. Naruto opened his eyes and saw himself in a sewer. He was in an ankle deep of water with pipes all around him. The drips of water echoed from the distance. Well, what are you waiting for? Come to me. The voice said, no longer in his head but seems to echo from all around him from somewhere. I would if I know where you are, grumbled Naruto. A dry chuckle echoed across the walls. One of the pipes beside him lit up, giving the place a reddish hue. Follow the pipe, it will lead you to me. The voice instructed. Seeing nothing else to do, Naruto followed the lit pipe to discover the source of the voice. It didn't take long, but after a few minutes of walking, he found himself in a wide cavern the size of the Hokage Tower. The walls were filled with pipes in varying colors, red, blue, white, green, and brown. It was mesmerizing to look at. On the far edge of the cavern was a giant cage with bars the size of his body. On the middle of the cage was a paper with the kanji of seal. Finally I get to meet my container for 8 long years. I've been waiting for you, kid, said the voice that seemed to come from the darkness in the other side of the cage. Where are you? Or more importantly, who are you? Asked Naruto, peering into the darkness of the cage to see who he was talking to. Before he could say anything else, the entire room was lit up by an intense wave of red chakra that seemed to emanate from the cage itself. The chakra felt heavy that it almost brought him to his knees, but as fast as it came, it was gone, but the lighting around the cavern remained. When Naruto raised his head, he was face to face with a creature that he only heard described in books. He immediately backed away. Kyubi, got it in one. You're not as dumb as you look. The creature known as Kyubi quipped in a demonic voice, similar to the one that has been echoing in his head. Hey! I'm not dumb. Defended Naruto, still shaking a bit at the size of the creature in front of him. That remained to be seen. The fox mumbled, which was still loud enough for an indignant Naruto to hear. Anyway, we are currently in your mind, or to be more specific, in the seal on your body. Seal? What seal? You should be dead. The Ondaime killed you 8 years ago. He was interrupted from his rant when a menacing wave of killer intent that flooded the room. Kyubi growled. Killed? Ha! The Ondaime couldn't possibly kill me. Me. The strongest of all the Baijuo. The Kyubi no Kitsune. However, he did the only thing that could stop my rampage. He sealed me inside his only child. You, said Kyubi in a loud voice, unaware that he revealed something that he shouldn't have said this early of the conversation. What? The Ondaime is my father? Shouted Naruto in disbelief. Not only was the Kyubi sealed in his gut, but he also found out that his father was the one who did that to him. His father was the Ondaime, one of the strongest Hokages of Konoha. Sometimes, the stupidity of humans can be very amusing. Kyubi mused loudly. Yes, kid. I am sealed inside you, and the Ondaime is your father. I don't know why this has been kept a secret from you, so it's best if you ask the old man about it, since I don't know anything about it. Naruto's mental state was in chaos, to say the least. Not only did he learn that the Kyubi was sealed inside him, but his father did it. He realized why he was called a demon all the time by the villagers. They think that he is the Kyubi because he was its jailer. He felt betrayed that the old man didn't trust him enough to share this information with him. He was mad at the villagers for their stupidity. No tears fell, but deep inside him, his anger was starting to smolder. While he was deep in thought, the great Kyubi was eyeing his host with a speculative gleam in his eyes. True, it was a bit of an insult to be sealed into a runt, but there is nothing he can do about it now. He can also sense the hatred and anger coming from the boy. He needed to stop this now before the boy decides on something that he will regret later on. Snap out of it, kid. This isn't the time to wallow in pity, said Kyubi. Upon hearing his voice, Naruto's head snapped up and gave the Kyubi an intense glare that made the creature back up a bit. You're one to talk. It's because of you that I'm hated by the villager. It is because of you that I'm always beaten on my birthday. It is because of you that my life has been hell. Kyubi released a powerful roar that made Naruto release all the anger and hatred he backed up in his rant. A claw made of red chakra shot out from the cage and engulfed him in a tight grip. He was yanked out of the ankle-deep water and brought face to face with the all-powerful creature sealed inside him. You have no right to blame me for the life you have, stupid human. I didn't ask to be sealed inside you. I also didn't attack the village without provocation. I was yanked out of my previous jailer when you were born, and someone controlled me to attack your village. With that, He threw Naruto down back to the sewer floor, causing a large splash of water upon impact. Naruto was dazed but, luckily, was still conscious even in his mind. Also, don't blame me for the Yondaime's action. I didn't ask him to seal me inside you. He did it on his own for the reason I don't know about. So before you yell at me for everything that happened in your life, know the facts first, kid, before I ram it down your throat. Ranted Kyubi. Naruto was shaken. It's not every day to be on the receiving end from a powerful rant from one of the most powerful creature in the elemental nation. However, the rant from Kyubi made him realize that the Baijiu was right. It wasn't his fault that he was sealed inside his body. After all, who would be stupid enough to be imprisoned anyway? Shaking his head to clear away his thoughts, Naruto approached the cage with his head bowed. I'm sorry, he mumbled to the creature. What? Shouted Kyubi. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry for ranting at you. I was angry, shouted Naruto. Kyubi gave the kid a glare and huffed. Fine. Just don't do it again. Are you calm down now for us to talk, or do you still want to rant and rave? Asked Kyubi sarcastically. Naruto took a deep breath to calm him down. Yeah, I'm good. So what do you want to talk about? Kyubi was surprised at this. In front of him was a kid that is well known to have temper issues, but calming down after just a few seconds was definitely a miracle. Deciding to press his luck, he talked to the kid. I'm here to answer your questions. I'm sure that you have dozens of them considering what happened yesterday, so why don't you start and I'll answer the best I can, said Kyubi. Why? Why are you being nice to me? Blurted Naruto. Why, you ask? Simple, I have no choice. To tell you the truth, kid, I don't like you and you definitely don't like me. But what would you have me do? I'm imprisoned inside you for life. The seal was made by the Shinigami himself that tied our souls together. If I escape, we both die. If you die, I die. So instead of bitching about it, I'm willing to work with you to make my life more bearable in this stinking prison. Well, I guess that answers that. You mentioned you have a previous jailer aside from me. Who is it? Asked a curious Naruto. My jailer before you was your mother, Uzumaki Kushina. Replied Kyubi. What? My mother was your jailer? Shouted Naruto. Calm down, kid. You're giving me a migraine. Yes. Your mother was my jailer. Nice lady too. She and I got along well together. When she was pregnant with you, a major part of her chakra system and body functions was diverted to sustaining you, so the seal that held me in her body was weakening. But with the efforts of your father, the Ondaime, they were able to hold me inside while you were being pushed out. He paused, checking if the kid was listening. Seeing that he got his attention, he continued. Anyway, after you were born, they were about to reinforce the seal when a man came out of nowhere and attacked your mother, which eventually released me from the seal. I was teleported outside of Konoha borders where the man suddenly appeared and took control of me. Do you know who the man was? Asked Naruto in a tight voice, wanting to know the one who killed his family and caused all his problems. Oh, I remember him all right, said an angry Kyubi. He was the same man who controlled me to do battle with Hashirama Senju in a place what you guys now call the Valley of the End. His name was Uchiha Madara. What? He supposed to be dead? Asked a disbelieving Naruto. He read some books on his spare time when he was allowed in the library, so he was a bit familiar with Konoha's history and founding. Oh, he's alive all right. I don't know how, but he is definitely alive. He survived the battle with the Shodaime and he is definitely alive when he attacked your mother and took control of me for the second time. I'm guessing that he is still alive right now, but as to where he is I don't have a clue. I see. So what now? Asked Naruto, dropping the subject for later. He has more important things to worry about, that history. Well, how about we talk about what happened back in the alley when you were attacked? I'm sure you have questions. Naruto nodded. Yes. What happened back there? What were those ball thingies that appeared around me? It was amazing. I didn't know I have something like that, said Naruto in an amazed voice. Kyubi chuckled. Yes, kid. It was definitely amazing. You see, what happened to you back there was a combination of both your mother's bloodline and my interference. This shocked Naruto. He has a bloodline? My mother has a bloodline? Oh yes. But your mother's bloodline was in a passive form. You see, her bloodline was called chakra manipulation. In her case, she can use her chakra to form chains that can easily disable anything, even me. That is one of the reasons why she was chosen to be my jailer in the first place. Now it would be safe to say that you already have her bloodline of chakra manipulation. What is chakra manipulation? Is it a way of using chakra for a lot of things? You are partially correct. You see, shinobis have the ability to use chakra for jutsu. There are also some who utilize their chakra for small things, like the Hyuga clan who uses chakra on the tip of their fingers like a needle to close the tenketsus of their opponents. Those are minor things compared to what you can do. In your case, you got the full ability of your bloodline unlike your mother. In your case, you have full chakra manipulation, you can do anything with it. You can make it into weapons, you can use it to move objects, you can even protect yourself with it by forming a dense shield. With this ability, you can use your imagination to use chakra in anything you wish, said Kyubi. Naruto was now amazed with everything that Kyubi said. He has a bloodline. But not just any bloodline, it is an amazing bloodline. He can use his chakra to do anything he wanted. However, something wasn't right. He voiced out his concerns. But what I did back in the alley is definitely not chakra manipulation, is it? I mean, it was different from what you described regarding my mother's bloodline. Questioned Naruto. Kyubi nodded. You're very perceptive, kid. You see, I tweaked your bloodline a bit to suit my purpose. I don't want to have a weak jailer. Ever since I saw you getting beaten up, it took me a few years to change your DNA so that I can also change your latent ability. What you have now is quite different from your mother's bloodline, but also similar in a way. What I did was give you full chakra and elemental control as well as granting you an ultimate defense, so to speak. Huh? What? Asked a dumbfounded Naruto. Kyubi just sighed. This might take a while. Let me see. I changed your bloodline a bit using my chakra. Instead of just manipulating chakra, I changed it so that you can use your chakra to allow you to manipulate the elements as well. For example, you can manipulate your chakra to allow you to create a shield of water or a sword of wind. It's all up to you on what you want to do with it. It takes practice, sure, but I'm sure that you can do it the way you want it to. That is also one of the reasons why you have a large chakra supply. This ability requires a shitload of chakra to work, so I also boosted your natural chakra supply to at least cage so you won't drop from exhaustion from using it. Whoa, that is so cool, shouted Naruto, excited over the prospect of practicing his bloodline ability. You mentioned something about ultimate defense. What is that? Oh, you caught that, did you? Seeing Naruto nod, he continued. Did you notice those small orbs that were floating around you back in the alley? Yep. I was freaked out a bit at first, but now that I think about it, they were cool. Well, those orbs are also a result of the changes I made to your bloodline. These orbs are elemental orbs that is an automatic defense connected to your instinct. If you feel an attack coming or your instinct picks something up, then it will react accordingly to protect you. If you noticed, you can also control it to attack. To explain it easily, it is a subconscious defense but requires your focus and will to attack. Explained Kyubi. So how do I activate it then? Asked Naruto, excited to gain control of this ability as soon as possible. Seeing Naruto's excitement, Kyubi sighed again. Simple, kid. Just channel chakra to your eyes to active your bloodline. Like the Sharingan and Byakugan, the eyes act as a switch for the bloodline to work. To turn it on, just continuously channel your chakra to your eyes, and if you want to turn it off, then just cut the chakra flow. That's easy. I can do that. He paused for a bit, then looked at Kyubi with a sheepish expression on his face. How do I channel chakra? Kyubi's sweat dropped. This is going to take a while. Chapter 3, Revelations. Naruto opened his eyes and saw that it was morning. He guessed that it took almost all night to talk to Kyubi about his bloodline. His body was well rested, it seems, considering that his body was asleep while his mind did all the work. It was amazing that he didn't get any headache from the whole thing. Of course, I wouldn't want you to wake up with a headache. I shudder to think your reaction would be when you wake up with a migraine. Quipped Kyubi from his head. I didn't know we can talk like this, said Naruto. You really are an idiot at times. If you remember, I talked to you when you were attacked in that alley, said Kyubi in an amused tone. Oh yeah, right. Sorry about that. Replied a sheepish Naruto. If you don't mind, I'll go take a nap. I stayed up all night talking to you, so I want to go to sleep and leave you alone for a while, said Kyubi, getting a mental image of the fox yawning and curling up in his cage. Naruto shook his head and sat up on his bed. He pulled off the covers and found that he was garbed in a hospital gown. I guess my clothes are gone now. He thought sadly when he remembered the beatings he got from yesterday. He looked around and saw that he was alone, so he proceeded to practice his bloodline a bit before someone comes knocking in. He closed his eyes and channeled chakra to his eyes. He felt the same warmth pool around his eyes that told him that his bloodline was active. He opened his eyes and saw that he was surrounded again by his elemental orbs. Remembering what Kyubi told him about his ability, he willed the orbs to move in front of him so he can inspect them closely, and they did. The 5 elemental orbs swiftly moved in front of him, seemingly like a puppy happy to serve its master. Each orb represents each element: an orb of red-hot flames, a white orb of crackling electricity, a blue orb of water, a green orb of swirling wind, and a brown orb made of earth. Curious, he stuck one of his fingers into the fire orb and was surprised that it didn't burn him. It was warm, comfortable to the touch. He pulled it out and stuck the same finger into the white orb of electricity which made the tip of his finger tingle. He played around with it a bit, making them dance around his body, also do some tricks like a loop-the-loop which he found entertaining. He also experimented on the range of his bloodline. It seems that these orbs were self-sustaining and can leave the range of his body. He experimented with this a bit by throwing the balls on the ends of the room and was happy that they didn't disappear. He also remembered that Kyubi told him about his chakra manipulation, so he gave it a shot and channeled chakra to his finger to connect to the orbs. It didn't work as he planned. All he got was a wisp of chakra escaping from his fingers and nothing else. I guess Kyubi was right when he told me that chakra manipulation requires more practice compared to my elemental orbs. He was so busy with his experimentation that he didn't notice the Hokage and dog enter the medical ward he was in. Their jaws were hanging open when they saw Naruto playing around with spheres made of elements. It was astounding and freaky at the same time. The Hokage coughed to get his attention. Naruto was busy playing around with his elemental orbs when he heard someone cough in the room. He turned his head and saw the Hokage and dog standing there on the door with their mouth hanging open. He gave them both a wave that caused the orbs to weave around him as if they were playing. Hiajiji, dog-san. He greeted his visitors. Both approached Naruto cautiously to avoid getting attacked by the orbs. Dog informed the Hokage everything that happened in the alley, so both were quite cautious when they approach. Naruto noticed this. "Don't worry, Gigi. They won't attack." He demonstrated that he was in complete control of his ability by letting them move around his body with his fingers, telling them where to go to alleviate their concerns. "Naruto, I'm glad to see that you're awake." The Hokage greeted his surrogate grandson. "I'm happy to see you're alright, Naruto. How are you feeling?" Dog asked, concern lacing his voice, which Naruto found endearing. "I'm feeling good. Great even. A lot of things happened but I'm cool," quipped Naruto happily. "Naruto, what are those? What happened to your eyes?" The Hokage pointed at the orbs. "Oh. These are my elemental orbs. They are a part of my bloodline," explained Naruto with an excited tone in his voice. "Bloodline? I didn't know you had such a bloodline. I don't even know that such a bloodline exists," asked the Hokage, dumbfounded on the idea of Naruto having such a powerful bloodline. "Oh. Yeah. These are new. Kyuubi told me that he changed my mother's bloodline a bit to create them. When I get these eyes, it means that my bloodline is activated." "Kyuubi?" Both Hokage and dog shouted. "Yep. Kyuubi explained everything to me," said Naruto. He frowned. "He also told me everything about my parents." "Naruto." The Hokage started but was cut off by Naruto. "You don't have to say anything, Gigi. I understand why you didn't tell me, so I forgive you. I also know that I have Kyuubi sealed inside me and I was able to talk to him." "You talked to the Kyuubi?" asked the Hokage, shocked that Naruto was able to get in contact with the beast at this early stage of his life. "Yup. It was an accident really, caused by the attacks, but it was good." "I want you to be careful, Naruto. The Kyuubi is a dangerous creature," warned the Hokage. "I resent that. I'm only dangerous to my enemies," growled Kyuubi. "I thought you were asleep," Naruto asked his tenant. "I was, but I woke up when I heard you were talking to the old man and your friend," explained Kyuubi. The Hokage noticed Naruto's blank stare, so he shook the boy a bit to get his attention. "What?" exclaimed Naruto. "You spaced out a bit there, kid," said Dog. "Oh, sorry about that. Kyuubi was talking to me. He was supposed to be asleep but he woke up when you came in and heard you." "What?" "Sheesh. Old people tend to overreact these days. Tell him to calm down, kid. I won't do anything." "Why don't you tell him what we talked about in our deal?" said Kyuubi. Giving the fox a mental nod, he turned his attention to his two visitors. "Why don't you two sit down? This is going to take a while." When the Hokage and Dog sat down, Naruto explained everything that happened in the alley in his meeting with Kyuubi. He told them about why Kyuubi attacked Konoha and explained what he knows about his abilities. When Naruto ended his story, the Hokage was massaging his temple because of the headache he got while digesting Naruto's story. Dog was drinking from a sake bottle he got from somewhere. Both found everything that happened to Naruto to be unbelievable. In fact, nothing natural seems to happen to the kid. "So Gigi, what do you think?" "I think you just gave me the worst headache in my history as Hokage." The old man whined while giving Dog a glare for not sharing his sake with him. "It wasn't that bad." Naruto defended himself. "Wasn't that bad? You just told us that you had a talk with the most powerful Baiju in the elemental nations and gave you practically the most powerful bloodline in history." "Sheesh. Nice to downplay everything that happened, kid," exclaimed Dog. Naruto just ignored it and looked at the old man. "So Gigi, what do you think I should do now?" The Hokage made up his mind over some things concerning Naruto's inheritance. "Why don't we leave here and adjourn to my office? Let's finish our talk there." Since you already know about your parents, so it's only safe to give you your inheritance. I think we might need to discuss about giving you an early training course so you can safely handle your bloodline without killing yourself." Naruto agreed. After Naruto changed into clothes that Dog got from his apartment, they adjourned to the Hokage Tower to talk about Naruto's inheritance. When they got to the office, Dog left to resume his shift while the Hokage went to one of the portraits lining the Hokage office. He bit into his thumb and wiped some blood on a panel underneath it, which opened to reveal a small nook. He took out 2 scrolls and a set of keys. He returned to his desk and sat down to face Naruto, who was idly sitting on a couch playing with one of the elemental orbs. From the looks of it, it was fire. He coughed to gain his attention. "Now Naruto, I have here 2 scrolls consisting of your inheritance, as well as the keys to your parents' house. Since you already know about them, then I'm going to allow you to stay in the Namikaze compound starting from now on. The security seals around the place are foolproof, so you need not worry about mobs finding you when you stay there." Seeing Naruto nod, he handed the keys to the boy and continued, "This scroll contains all the money that your parents have amassed when they were still alive. We can safely say that you are going to be a very rich boy," said the Hokage. "Why aren't they in the bank, Gigi?" asked Naruto. "Simple. When Kushina and Minato died, they were thinking that the Namikaze clan died with them. The civilian council were trying their best to get the money, so I took out all the money from the bank, leaving only a few measly change, then sealed the bulk of it into this scroll," explained the Hokage. It was a wise move on his part to immediately get the money from the bank and sealed it into the scroll. The week after Kushina was declared dead, the civilian council was demanding to have the money transferred over to the village coffers. He was sure that they were going to go behind his back and pocket the Namikaze and Uzumaki fortune, leaving poor Naruto on the dirt. He was practically gloating when the civilian council found out that the billions of Ryo they were coveting from the clan account turned out only a few thousands. That was one when he scratched up on his book. "Thanks, Gigi. So how much do I have?" asked a curious Naruto. "I'm not sure. I think you have several billions of Ryo in that scroll," said the Hokage offhandedly. "What? Billions? I didn't know that my parents were that rich," exclaimed Naruto. The Hokage just gave him a long look. "Naruto, you forgot that your parents were very powerful shinobis. Remember that they worked their way up the ladder, so the bounties and salaries from missions made them well off. Not to mention that your mother was one of our accomplished hunters, and so she definitely got a lot of money out of the bounties she turned in," explained the Hokage. Naruto was awed at the explanation. His parents were powerful shinobis. His determination doubled upon hearing this. Now he definitely needs to work hard to become the strongest. "Now Naruto, there is something we need to talk about, and it concerns the council," said the Hokage in a serious tone. This immediately got Naruto's attention. "What do you mean, old man?" "I have a plan, but I need your permission first." "Sure, I trust you," said Naruto with a smile. The trust that the boy showed him made him sit straight, proud to have the child's total devotion despite everything he went through. He is now more determined to protect the child, and to do that, he needs to get the council back to the way it was before. "Thank you, Naruto. Now, I plan to reveal everything to the council, your bloodline and your inheritance. If we get this right, then your life here in Konoha will be a lot better from now on. I'm not sure that we should reveal Kyubi as of yet, since that will definitely backfire on us." "Oh? So you're going to tell the old geezers about me? Are you sure about that, Jigi?" Naruto asked, worried about what might happen that will give him problems in the future. "No need to worry, Naruto. Remember, I know the laws like the back of my hand. I plan to introduce you as the Namikaze and Uzumaki clan head and back it up with the introduction of your bloodline. Remember, bloodlines here in Konoha are prized by the council, so you having one will definitely swing the decision to your favor. Now all we need to do is to find out if your bloodline will be passed on to your children." "Tell him to go ahead, kid. Your bloodline is deeply integrated into your DNA, so your kids will definitely have them," announced Kyubi. Kyubi said to go ahead, Gigi. "He said that my kids will get the same thing I have," said Naruto. "Good. Everyone already knows about Kushina's bloodline, but we can tell them that it evolved because of the Namikaze genes. This way, they won't look deep into it." "Sounds great. Do you want me to attend the meeting?" asked Naruto. "Yes. I need you to be there, since you will be asked to demonstrate your bloodline to the council, mainly the Shinobi Council. I already called for a meeting, so they are waiting for us down in the chamber." "I'm ready, Gigi. Let's kick the geezer's ass and teach them who's boss," Naruto shouted enthusiastically, which brought a peal of laughter from the Hokage. Only Naruto can brighten his day like this. The Konoha Council was divided into 2 factions, the Shinobi Council and the Civilian Council. The Shinobi Council is made up of the Konoha clan heads, as well as the 2 advisors of the Hokage. The main clans include the Hyuga, Aburame, Akimichi, Nara, Uchiha, and the Inuzuka. The Uchiha representative was Danzo Shimura since Uchiha Sasuke is still underage and the eldest, Uchiha Itachi, is a missing nin. The civilian council is made up of the wealthy merchants in Konoha. The Hokage explained to Naruto the two council factions and his standing among them. The Shinobi Council is either neutral or favorable to his plight since most of them followed the Yondaime's wishes for you to be treated as a hero. The only exception to this rule is the Hyuga. The Civilian Council, however, is another matter entirely. They are against Naruto since he holds the Kyubi. This caused a stalemate when it comes to votes, but the Hokage was sure that he can sway them to Naruto's side due to his powerful bloodline. When the Hokage and Naruto entered the council chamber, the boy noticed that everyone was bickering over one thing and another. The whole scenario didn't really make much of an impression with Naruto. Don't worry too much about it, kid. Humans have always been like this. You've seen them all, said Kyubi, amused over the council's pseudo-superiority. Why are they acting like that then? Asked Naruto. Simple, kid. From what I gather, the civilian council have been trying to usurp the Hokage's powers for years now. If I remember correctly, Minato told Kushina about it while I was sealed inside her. He was trying hard to stop their power-grabbing schemes, but he was only able to do so much. I guess the Hokage is now pushed back to the back seat unless he takes away the power that they have right now. Why won't Gigi do that then? He is the Hokage after all. He is the leader of the village. Yes. He can do that, but he might be working on that right now, starting with you. It seems that you gave him back his backbone, said an amused Kyubi. His conversation was cut short when one of the civilian council members made it known to the Hokage of Naruto's presence. Hokage same. We were wondering why you called us for an important meeting. Also, why is that boy doing here? The councilman sneered. The Hokage just gave the offending party long look and made it known why he was the Hokage and they were just advisors. Tell me, Councilman Haruno. Who am I? Asked the Hokage. You're the Hokage, Hokage-sama. Councilman Haruto immediately answered. Good, Councilman Haruno. So let me ask you this, WHO gave you permission to ask me why I called for a council meeting? The Hokage shouted the last part and leaked a bit of his killing intent that made the civilian council cower in fear. The Shinobi Council stood straight. It seems that something happened that made Hiruzen Sarutobi bring out his long-lost backbone. For them, they were looking at the god of Shinobi, the professor, and the third Hokage of Konoha no Sato. Even the ever-stoic Danzo smiled at this. For the past years since I've taken the mantle of Hokage again from Minato, I noticed that the civilian council are turning my village as their own. So let me ask you this, is Konoha a shinobi village or a civilian village? Asked the Hokage in a cold voice. He addressed the entire council, daring them to answer his question. The Nara clan had answered. Konoha is a shinobi village, Hokage-sama. Good to know that. So let me remind the council that this is a shinobi village, so this is purely my village. I'm the leader of Konoha. The council is just my advisors. You don't give me orders. I give orders. If I say you jump, you ask how high. If I say you leave, then you should run as fast as you can. Do you all understand me? He released his barely restrained killer intent at the civilian council, making some of them pass out from the strain. He looked around as if daring for anyone to tell him otherwise. After a few seconds of silence, he took charge of the meeting. Good, now we can start. I called you all here regarding some recent developments that occurred here in Konoha that will greatly affect its future. What developments, Hokage-sama? Asked the Hiyashi Hyuga. This is concerning the bloodline that woke up in Uzumaki Naruto yesterday after he was attacked by civilians. This brought out a lot of whispers from the Shinobi Council. The Civilian Council, however, were in total denial that the boy have any bloodline and that it is a trick to fool the Hokage. Hearing that the meeting was starting to degenerate into a total argument, he slammed his hand hard on the table. That calmed everyone down. Thank you for the silence, he said sarcastically. Anyway, it seems that Naruto-kun woke up his mother's bloodline ability within himself, but it evolved into something more due to his father's genetic code. The boy is an orphan, Hokage-sama. He doesn't have any parents. One of the civilian council sneered. Really now, councilman? Let me ask you this, do I need to give you the talk? Asked the Hokage. What? The councilman stuttered out. I said if I need to give you the talk. It seems to me that you don't know how babies are made. I assure you that Naruto-kun didn't just come out of the cabbage patch or a stork brought him to Konoha. The Shinobi Council laughed at this while the civilians were glaring at them. To continue, I brought Naruto-kun here to explain how his bloodline awakened. I'll supply the facts that he left out since I knew both his parents personally. The Hokage motioned for Naruto to step forward to begin his explanation, which he did. He explained what happened with the mobs yesterday that made the civilian council nervous. When he finished his explanation, One of the shinobi council, the Nara clan head, asked. "So Uzumaki-san, can you demonstrate to us your bloodline?" Naruto nodded and closed his eyes. He channeled chakra to his eyes to activate his elemental orbs. The entire Konoha council gasped. Naruto was surrounded by 5 orbs of lights, each of different colors, taking their rightful position around Naruto's body. They stared in awe when Naruto opened his eyes and showed them his eyes, revealing his Dujutsu, gold iris and reverse star pupils. "This is my bloodline that is activated through my eyes. I call this the Kamigan or God's eyes. And no, I didn't come up with a name for my bloodline. Hokage Gigi gave me the name since it is a new bloodline with no records of its origins." "So what do they do, Uzumaki-san?" Tsume, the Inuzuka clan head, asked. "My bloodline is composed of 2 main elements according to the Hokage. It seems that I got my mother's chakra manipulation bloodline that allows me to utilize chakra for almost anything I want. Hokage Gigi also told me that because of my father's DNA caused the bloodline to evolve that allows me to control elements as well without having to do hand seals. Also, my elemental orbs is only activated when my Dujutsu is active. It seems that my ultimate defense and elemental manipulation from them is directly connected to my eyes." This shocked the entire council. A bloodline of this magnitude has never been seen throughout the entire elemental nations. The power to control chakra and the elements is practically the most powerful bloodline in the world. Most of the shinobi councils were drooling over the possibility of such bloodline while the civilians were busy plotting on how to get Naruto under their wings to control such power. "What are those orbs surrounding you?" the Aburame clan head asked. "These are what I call elemental orbs, Shinobi-san. They serve as both my offense and defense. The defense is automatic. When it senses danger, it can act without my will to protect me." "Interesting, can we test it out?" Danzo asked, interested over the possibility of such bloodline. Getting a nod from Naruto, he snapped his fingers twice and one of the hidden Anbus in the chamber threw 2 shurikens at Naruto at blinding speed. However, before the shurikens could hit Naruto, a wall of water shot out from the blue orb and intercepted the projectile. Danzo snapped his fingers again twice and a hail of kunai seems to shot out from the wall, but before it could hit Naruto, a wall of wind surrounded him that deflected the kunais away that almost hit the council members in the room. The entire council was shocked at the power of such bloodline. It was indeed the ultimate defense. Uzumaki Naruto has power over the elements and to use them as his ultimate defense. This was unheard of. "Interesting indeed, Uzumaki-san. It seems that your bloodline is quite powerful," said Danzo. "However, what would happen if someone attacked you directly?" Before anyone could stop him, he snapped his fingers once again and this time an Anbu rushed out from the shadow, ready to impale him with his katana. Naruto saw this and pushed his right arm out and immediately willed the flames to protect him. The fire orb shot out a stream of fire that created a wall of flames that surrounded him, effectively stopping the attacking Anbu from his tracks. He twirled his hands in a counterclockwise gesture and a stream of water, like a whip, shot out from the water orb and grabbed the attacker and immobilized him in the air. He raised his other hand palms facing forward to the attacker for the flames surrounding him to suddenly twirl around the suspended Anbu, ready to burn him off. Everyone was silent for a few moments before the Hokage coughed, catching everyone's attention. "I think that is enough for a demonstration, Naruto-kun. You can put him down now before anyone gets hurt." He finished the statement while giving Danzo a glare, daring him to do it again. Danzo just gave him a smirk but backed down from the dare. Naruto nodded, pulled the flame and water back to their respective orbs, but letting them stay active just in case of more attacks. The elemental orbs just weaves around him, as if ready to protect its master from further attacks. "Sorry about that, Gigi, I guess I got carried away," he replied sheepishly, scratching the back of his head. The Hokage just waved the apology with a gesture of his hand. "It's okay, Naruto-kun. Why don't you stay back a bit so we can wrap this up?" He turned back to the rest of the council who was now looking at Naruto and his elemental orbs in awe. "Can we continue now, or do you want me to ask Naruto-kun to demonstrate more of his powers to the rest of the council?" Everyone immediately shook their heads. They wouldn't want to become the subject of such demonstration. They've seen enough. "So to continue, I would like to announce Naruto-kun's inheritance. From this day onward, he shall take up his father's clan leadership. Starting today, he shall be addressed as Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto." The entire Konoha council erupted into pandemonium. Chapter 4, Return of Namikaze. Chaos. The Konoha council was in total uproar. The shinobi side of the council was excited over the prospect of returning the Namikaze clan into Konoha. However, the civilian council were in total denial. Not only was the Kyubi brat in possession of practically one of the most powerful elemental bloodline to date, but also the son of their hero, the Yondaime Hokage, Namikaze Minato. Both Sarutobi and Naruto were amused over their antics. They were expecting chaos, but this takes the cake. Everyone was in total uproar. It was hilarious and both were dismayed of not bringing any camera with them to immortalize the faces of the entire council. Sarutobi let the council go wild for a few more minutes. He and Naruto both discussed how things were supposed to go and this is part of their plan. Instead of lording over the council, it was decided to let them stew over the idea and let them arrive at their own conclusion. The Shinobi Council eventually settled down but the excited smirk on their faces proved to be enlightening to both Naruto and the Hokage. Even the stoic Yoshi Hyuga was showing a slight smirk. To the trained eye of course, that tells that he was happy with the news. It made Sarutobi a bit weary since Yoshi was known to be a schemer so he may have plans with the young Namikaze. The civilian council, however, was discussing among themselves the absurdity of the idea regarding the demon brat being the Yondaime's son. Considering that they weren't that smart to begin with so the bare facts that the Shinobi Council already realized eluded them. Sarutobi was brought out of his musings when the head of the civilian council shouted to get his attention. The offender was no other than the Haruno councilman. "This is absurd, Hokage-sama. It is not possible for the boy to be Namikaze-sama's son," ranted the councilman. "Oh? Really now Councilman Haruno? Do you have any facts that prove otherwise?" inquired an amused Sarutobi. "We all know for a fact that the Yondaime has never married. If it was then his son's parentage would have been known throughout the entire village." The Hokage nodded. "That is true but that is the reason why all of you don't know about his personal life." "Explain yourself Hokage-sama," said another civilian council member. "I don't have to explain myself to you but I will humor you just this once. Now, before we go into the legalities of the Namikaze Uzumaki heir, let me first ask you this. Do you think that Naruto-kun is the exact replica of the fourth when he was young? Get rid of the whisker marks and the orange outfit then you will see what I'm talking about." Everyone stared at Naruto which made him squirm in his seat. It wasn't always that he becomes the center of attention so he was unused to the feeling. The Nara clan head spoke first. "You are correct. He does indeed look a lot like Minato when he was still young. I should know. He was quite close with the Ino Shikacho, Inoiki Shikakukuza, group during our pre-Jinan days." The rest of the Shinobi Council agreed at this. "Also, his temper and attitude reminds me too much of Kushina-chan when she was young. She was quite a spitfire that girl. Not to mention the pranks she pulled," said Tsume Inuzuka, chuckling all the while as she remembered the young hothead. "Indeed. Remember when she clobbered Jiraiya-sama when he was caught peeking at the Kunoichis," said a laughing Kuza. "He stayed in the hospital for a week after she was done with him." Every Shinobi Council member chuckled at that. The civilian council just glared at them. "That is not enough reason to believe that that boy is the son of the Yondaime," said one councilwoman. "You are correct. That is why I brought with me the marriage contract of both Kushina-chan and Minato-kun's. It was a private ceremony held in my office, witnessed by Jiraiya and Tsunade. Also, here is the birth certificate of Naruto-kun when he was born during the Kyuubi attack signed by both Tsunade and Hikari Sato who took charge of the birthing," said the Hokage, holding up two documents and passed them first to the Shinobi Council. When the civilian council got their hands on the documents, they poured all their attention to it to make sure that everything is legal, and to their dismay it was ironclad. It was official. Uzumaki Naruto is indeed Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, the son of Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina. The Hokage coughed to return their attention back to him. "Now we will take a vote should Naruto-kun get his inheritance according to Minato-kun's will." He called for a vote and all the Shinobi Council, as well as some of the civilian council raised their hands in agreement. The only ones left were the Hokage advisors, Homaru, and Koharu, Danzo, and some of the civilian council. "Then it is official. Naruto-kun will take the Namikaze Uzumaki clan leadership and all assets that come with it. Considering that he is still a minor, I will be temporarily taking over his seat in the council until he becomes an adult when he graduates and become a Jonin of Konohagakure no Sato. But Hokage-sama, if Namikaze-sama is given clan head status when he reaches Jonin then Uchiha Sasuke-sama should also be instated as the clan head as well." One councilman shouted. The sama suffix was added in disdain but the Hokage just ignored this. "For now, you are correct but we can never deny the fact that Uchiha Sasuke is not the clan head. Itachi is still the eldest of the surviving Uchiha clan so until he is dead, Sasuke is not the clan head," said the Hokage calmly. "Is there any else?" he demanded over the shouting of the civilian council. Seeing most of the members of the council shake their heads in negative, he continued. "If there aren't any more on the agenda then I call this session of the Konoha Council to a close. You are all dismissed." With that, the Hokage nudged Naruto out of the chamber leaving behind a smiling shinobi council, fuming civilian council, And of course, some plotting members to get the boy under their control and all the influence he holds. The Hokage and Naruto retired into the Hokage office after the meeting, both exhausted with everything that happened today. It was already late in the afternoon, so both were a bit weary. Naruto settled down on the couch and directed the wind orb to rotate in order to produce a cooling breeze to cool them up. The Hokage was thankful for this, then settled down in his chair facing Naruto. "Now that everything is done, I would like to congratulate you in becoming the head of the Namikaze Uzumaki clan, Naruto-kun," said Sarutobi, giving his surrogate grandson a smile. "Thanks, Gigi. But don't you think that I'm a bit too young to become a clan head? I mean, I don't even know what to do," exclaimed Naruto. "No need to worry, my boy. I'm sure you'll pick it up in no time. Now, we need to discuss a few things that come with your birthright." Naruto nodded, so he continued. "Naruto, you need to realize that one of the reasons why I kept your inheritance secret is because both your mother and father have plenty of enemies. The history between the Yondaime and Iwa is legendary, so they will be sending a lot of assassins to kill you when the word of your identity gets out. I kept this hidden from you because I wanted to protect you, so I apologize for not acting out sooner." "Apologize, Sarutobi." "I understand, Gigi. But why did you release the information now? I mean, would that just put me in danger?" asked a curious Naruto. "Well, it would have been a dangerous idea to release your inheritance to the world, but I think we both know for a fact that you can protect yourself now." Subtly gesturing towards the floating orbs surrounding Naruto. "Since we are on the subject, I decided to let you train even before entering the academy to hone your skills. Among the rest of the shinobi clan heirs, you are in a bit of a disadvantage since your parents aren't around to teach you their techniques, but with your determination and stamina, I'm sure that you can overcome this hurdle. Also, kid, I would be helping you out. Tell the old man that I will be helping you train, giving you ideas to help you get started," interrupted Kyubi. He was awake and listened to the entire council meeting and agreed with the Hokage's presumption regarding Naruto's enemies in the future. His container can take care of himself with his bloodline, but it's best to be safe than sorry. Gigi. Kyubi told me that he agreed with your idea. He will be helping me out as well." Naruto relayed his conversation with Kyubi. Sarutobi was shocked at this. Naruto was already powerful with his active bloodline, but with Kyubi's teachings, it is possible for the boy to become the most powerful shinobi in the entire elemental nations. He was weary with the offer. Despite knowing the truth about the Kyubi attack, he is still having second thoughts regarding the fox's allegiance. As if sensing the Hokage's thoughts and intentions, Kyubi decided to get his idea across. "Kit, I want you to tell the Hokage to lock down the room. I want both you here in your mind so we can discuss your training." "Can you do that? Can you bring him into my mind?" asked an incredulous Naruto. "Of course. I have lived a long time, Kit, so I know a trick or two. Just tell him to lock down the room and I want you to relay this technique to him. I'll pass it to you right now." Naruto's eyes glazed over when the information of the technique was transferred to his brain. He told the Hokage about the Kyubi's idea and complied. He blazed through a set of seals and the room lit up for a bit before dying down, effectively locking the room from intruders. He performed the technique as Kyubi instructed and touched Naruto's temple. Hiruzen Sarutobi is hailed to be the most knowledgeable man in realm of shinobi arts, which earned him the nickname of the Professor by both friends and enemies. But nothing prepared him when he stood under the presence of the great Kyubi no Kitsune in Naruto's mind. He saw the cage that separated the beast from his surrogate grandson, as well as the seal that is placed in the middle that forever locked him in place. The sewer-like atmosphere didn't really fit well on what he think to be Naruto's mind, but he can teach Naruto later about the mindscape so he can change it if necessary. "Welcome to my humble abode, Hokage," the Kyubi bellowed, overreacting a bit to scare the human in front of him. Naruto just rolled his eyes over Kyubi's antics. "Kyubi-sama," said a subdued Hokage, not knowing how to act in front of the great beast that lorded over the rest of the powerful Baijuo. "Such respect from the leader of the most powerful village, but we are not here to exchange pleasantries. Let's get down to business," said Kyubi, amused that he successfully intimidated the supposedly powerful leader of Konoha. "Indeed, Kyubi-sama. I want to know what you plan to teach Naruto-kun." "I don't want him to hurt himself with your teachings," said Sarutobi, scrounging up every fiber of his courage to face the great beast. It seems that protecting his surrogate grandson brought out more of his backbone. Kyubi noticed this and grinned. "I commend you, Hokage. It is not every day that I meet a human that has enough courage to face me, except your Yondaime, of course." He added the last part as an afterthought. Naruto had enough of the whole thing and decided to make his presence known. "Stop scaring the old man, Kyubi," he growled. Kyubi just released an amused chuckle, releasing the intimidating act, and gave Naruto a foxy grin. This confused Sarutobi to say the least. "Sorry, kid, but I can't help myself being a fox and all." He turned his attention to the old man. Anyway, we are supposed to discuss about the brat's training. What were you planning to teach him? The Hokage coughed to get his beating heart under control. I plan to start him off with the basics. Before he can become a competent shinobi, I will want him to improve his physical prowess before moving on to other shinobi arts. During his physical training, I will be teaching him the basics of chakra control since he seems to need it for the rest of his bloodline ability. That is a good idea to start the brat's training. The brat part got an indignant hey from Naruto. The fox just gave him a mischievous grin. But it would be best to allow him to expand his mental capacity as well. We all know that chakra is based on purely physical and spiritual energy. The physical energy can be easily done through physical training, improving his strength and stamina. However, in order for him to balance his increasing physical energy, we need to improve his mind as well, so he needs to train his mind with knowledge of the shinobi arts and tactics. Sarutobi nodded. Agreed. But such growth would take a lot of time. There isn't any way for him to balance both skills without hurting him in the process. What I plan is to start him off with physical training, then begin his mental training once he attend the academy. True. But I have a much better idea. Naruto needs to be strong enough, at least shonen level, when he enters the academy. I don't want a weak container, and knowing his heritage and being my container, his enemies won't be giving him the breathing room to grow strong. Kyubi argued. Sarutobi sighed. You're correct, Kyubi-sama. But I know nothing to help him in both fields at the same time without him breaking down in the process. You don't? Well, actually you do, but you haven't realized it yet. But I do know how to get both his training done at the same time. I want you to teach him the Cage Bunshin technique that his mother passed on to Konoha. That shocked Sarutobi. True, with the Cage Bunshin, he can easily divide himself to accommodate both physical and mental training, but the strain of the technique will surely hurt the boy. That is one of the reasons why the technique was considered as a kinjutsu to begin with. No. Naruto is not strong enough to do the Cage Bunshin. Naruto was confused over the argument regarding a jutsu, so he interrupted the arguing duo. Ajiji. What is the Cage Bunshin? Sarutobi turned to Naruto. Naruto, the Cage Bunshin is one of the forbidden techniques passed on by your mother to Konoha when he became one of our ninjas. It is part of your inheritance, but it is a dangerous technique for you at your current age. The technique requires a lot of chakra to pull off, and you need chakra control to avoid overpowering the technique. Jigi. What does the technique do? The technique is powerful. Unlike the normal Bunshin, the Cage Bunshin allows you to create real copies of yourself using large amounts of chakra. It is a technique used mostly for spying, since the clone will pass on its memories and experience once dispelled or killed. It also has its own chakra network, so it can also do jutsu unlike other Bunshins. That is correct, agreed Kyubi. With the Cage Bunshin, we can easily simplify your training course. The real you would be busy with physical training, since the Cage Bunshin cannot relay physical experience and improvements, but you can use them to read and learn the shinobi arts and scrolls and from your teachers. Kyubi-sama is correct, but I think this technique is too much for you to handle at your age. That is not true, Hokage. Naruto already has the chakra reserves. If you take time to reach out with your senses, you will see that his chakra store far surpasses your own, and with my presence, I can easily replenish his stores with my own limitless supply to avoid exhaustion. Sarutobi thought about this for a bit. It is true that Naruto is already more than a cage-level shinobi in terms of chakra and stamina, and with the Kyubi's presence, he will never suffer from exhaustion unless he depletes his own supply first. So you are willing to supply him with the chakra he needs for the technique to be used for training? Yes. I will be helping the loudmouthed brat. Kyubi growled. And why would you do that? True that you offered, but I don't see it from one such as you, argued Sarutobi. Kyubi just gave out a large sigh. Hokage, I think you already realize that the kid and I are already bound by this Hinagami's seal. This means that both our souls are merged. When he dies, I die as well. So please excuse me if I want to help train the kid so we'll both survive. Sarutobi realized what the fox was doing was out of self-preservation. He realized that there is too much at stake here for the Baiju than he realized. So this makes Naruto safe from the Kyubi's influence. It is true that if harm comes to Naruto, then Kyubi would be harmed as well, so making him strong is the only option for the fox to survive. With the seal in place, Kyubi cannot control Naruto's mind without his express permission. Fine, I agree with your idea. I will devise a training schedule for Naruto for his physical training. The Namikaze Uzumaki compound holds one of the largest libraries in Konoha, not including the Hokage archive, so he can go over the shinobi arts from there. But you have to promise me that he won't be doing any high-level techniques that I know Minato have compiled in his library until we both deem him ready. I will be asking for a monthly report so I can keep track of his progress. Agreed? Agreed. "He have a deal, Hokage. Now leave me be. I'm tired, so I wanna sleep for now. If you wanna relay something to me, just tell the brat." With that, Sarutobi was kicked out of Naruto's mind. Chapter 5, A Year of Training. After meeting the Kyubi, Naruto and the Hokage was making their way to Naruto's apartment to pick up his things so he can move to his new home. He was excited over the prospect of having his very own house to live in. What made it more awesome to his 8-year-old enthusiasm is that he will be moving to his family home. Naruto have never been exposed to the concept of family since he has been alone all his life, except of course the Hokage, which he treats like a grandfather, the Ichiraku family, and dog. Weasel was also part of his family, but the Hokage informed him that he became a missing nin. He asked why. The Hokage didn't tell him, much to his annoyance. After Naruto packed up all his things, which didn't consist much since he didn't bother to stock up on his favorite items for fear the villager would just come in and trash the place, the left again towards his new home. It took a while for them to arrive, considering that his clan's compound was on the opposite side of the village, hidden in a secluded area behind the Hokage monument. Naruto was shocked when he saw the gate. It was huge. The walls were purely made of stone and adorned with various symbols, which the Hokage mentioned they were seals that made up the estate's protection. The gate was made purely of black metal, 2 iron-bound gates locked together by a circular notch in the middle holding the Namikaze Uzumaki clan symbol, a cross which consisted of a tri-pronged kunai standing on its hilt with a katana in the horizontally running through it in the middle. The Hokage explained the relevance of the symbol. The kunai was a signature move of the 4th Hokage, the Hiraishin, and the katana was Kushina's trademark since she was known as the Red Death, Konoha's most powerful sword user. Naruto was amazed by his parents' prowess in battle and made it his dream to live up to their skills or even trump them as a child should. They stopped in front of the massive gate and asked Naruto to place his hand on the notch in the middle and channel his chakra through it. He explained that the gate contained a complicated security seal that the Ondaime created to protect his family. The seal can read the chakra of the person to determine if they are a part of the family to both grant and deny entrance. He also told Naruto that the library in the compound contained the instructions to allow him to add other people into the seal matrix so they can enter without his permission. He cautioned Naruto to make sure that he only adds someone that he can trust. Naruto made a mental note to add both Dog and the Hokage to the matrix so they can visit him anytime. Following the old man's advice, he placed his hand on the panel and felt his chakra being absorbed by the seal. Nothing happened at first, but the panel glowed blue before a click was heard from inside. He immediately removed his hand when the circular notch turned clockwise and the gate slid to the sides, revealing a massive compound inside. The Namikaze Uzumaki compound was huge to say the least. The Hokage told him that it was larger than that of the Hyuga compound, which was said to be the most extensive in Konoha. The landscape was mostly intact, but the flowers and weeds were all over the place since it has been 8 years since it last saw any habitation or tending. Naruto noticed that there were a lot of things that needs to be repaired. He is going to be doing this for a very long time. When they entered the compound, he saw an oriental-styled mansion. The foundation was purely made of chiseled gray stones and the walls were of dark polished wood. His house can never be called a house, it was a mansion consisting of 3 floors. He was busy checking out the place when the Hokage called his attention. "Now Naruto, I won't be able to show you around since I'll be busy tending to the paperwork and mission reports back in the office, so I'll leave you alone to explore the place. If you want, we can hire some genins to clean up the place, but I advise against it since the Namikaze Uzumaki compounds hold secrets that should be left alone from unwanted eyes. I will send Dog later to help you get settled, and since we both know that he can be trusted. Is there anything else you need before I leave?" "I think I'm alright, Gigi. I can take care of myself. I'll check out the house and I'll find some rooms I can sleep in. I'll decide what to do tomorrow since it's already late," said a tired Naruto. "Sure thing, my boy. I'm not sure if there's still food inside the house, but I remember Minato-kun telling me that he has preservation seals on the cabinets to keep the food fresh. You can shop for necessities tomorrow if there is any need, but for now I bid you good night." Getting a nod from Naruto, he was about to leave when he was tackled by Naruto in a tight hug. He wrapped his arms around the boy that he already considered a part of his family. "Thanks a lot, Gigi. I don't know what I'll do without you," whispered Naruto. Clapping the boy on the back, he chuckled. "Not to worry, Naruto. You're part of my family and I am more than happy to take care of you." "Thanks again, Gigi. See you later." With that, both parted with a small farewell, ready to face the challenges that are to come in the future. Naruto saw the gate slide close with a small click when the Hokage left the compound. He turned around and made his way to the front door. He saw that it was locked, so he fished out the set of keys that he got from the old man and placed it on the keyhole and gave it a small twist. The door opened to reveal a beautifully designed, yet dusty, Interior that he definitely fell in love at first sight. Like the outside, the interior was also made from dark polished wood. The furniture were in pretty good condition considering that they've been left unattended for 8 years, but the dust that covered them definitely requires some serious cleaning. A sudden thought occurred to him and activated his Kamigan. The elemental orb immediately materialized in front of him, ready for his will to command them. He willed the wind orb to go to the center of the room to create a miniature tornado to attract the dust like a vacuum cleaner. It did its job and the clear tornado now turned into a gray-colored storm due to the number of dust in it. He gently guided the tornado outside and off the compound and allowed it to dissipate to scatter its contents. He checked out the room again and nodded for a job well done. It still needed cleaning, but it wouldn't require heavy-duty work to get it sparkling clean again. He then moved to the kitchen and repeated the same technique to get rid of the dust. He checked out the cabinets and saw that it was still stocked with enough food to get him by until he finds time to do some groceries. He pulled out the storage scroll that the Hokage gave that contained his belongings and laid it open on the table. He channeled a tiny bit of chakra to one of the kanjis painted on it to release its content. In a poof of smoke, which quickly dispersed, revealed mounds of his favorite ramen. He placed all of it on one of the empty cabinets but left 3 of them out for his dinner. He checked out the stove and saw that it was in working order, so he took one of the pans out and laid it on top of the stove. He filled it with water from the water orb and directed a stream of fire from the fire orb to light up the stove. He waited a bit for the water to boil and prepared his ramen. Dinner was quiet as he happily slurped his food down. While he was busy eating, he decided to have a talk with his tenant to ask what to do from now on. "Oi Kyubi! You awake?" he mentally hollered just in case the fox was asleep. "Pipe down, you insufferable brat. You're too loud," growled Kyubi, not amused at being woken up from his nap. "What do you want now?" "Nothing, I was craving for your company," Naruto said sarcastically. "Cheeky brat. What's been going on while I was asleep?" asked Kyubi, now fully awake and giving Naruto his full attention. "Nothing much, I moved all my stuff here at my parents' house. I just wanted to talk to you what to do from now on." "Maybe we can talk about my training," said Naruto excitedly. He was definitely geared towards training to get stronger. "It's too early for that, kid. Why don't you spend a few days checking out your place and take stock on what's in here? You might want to check out the library too to see what we can work with. There should be a scroll there about the cage bunshine. From your memories, I see that you forgot to ask the Hokage about it." "Oops. Sorry. I forgot all about it." "Idiot." "Hey! I said I was sorry, didn't I? I'll check the library after I'm done." "Good. I see you're already done, so why don't you check the place out now before it gets any darker for us to see? Also check if the electricity is still on in this place. We don't want to live here without any lighting." "Sure. I'm already done eating, so I'll check the place out," agreed Naruto. After Naruto finished eating, he threw the empty ramen cups in the garbage and started his exploration of his new home. Naruto definitely liked his new home. No, he loved it. The place was everything he dreamed of. The first floor was composed of the family den, kitchen, and an entertainment room with a large TV. The door at the back opened up to a large hot spring that he definitely wanted to soak in later on. Kyubi complimented the hot spring since it would be a great place to train his chakra control, as well as a great place to relax his sore muscles after a hard day of physical workout. The second floor was mainly composed of bedrooms. From the looks of it, there were a total of 5 rooms on the floor, 2 large rooms and 3 small ones that looks like guest rooms. Each room has its own bathroom. He chose to stay in one of the larger rooms that looked like the master's bedroom. What endeared him to it is because of his parents' things and photos that he will definitely check out later on. The third floor came at a big surprise to the blonde boy. The entire floor was the library and it was huge. After he opened the locked door by placing his hand on the clan insignia, he saw that the third floor was one big room with one section closed off. There were shelves after shelves containing hundreds of scrolls. One part of the room was an armory where you can see a lot of shinobi weapons on display. One of the walls displayed dozens of his father's tri-pronged kunai and a pedestal on the side that contained his mother's prized katana that earned her the nickname of Red Death. He vowed to learn the art of the sword to keep his mother's memory alive. After an hour of checking out library, he was astounded with the number of scrolls in the place. It was organized according to each shinobi field, mainly elemental and non-elemental jutsus, Fuuin jutsu, sealing, kenjutsu, daijutsu, and genjutsu. There was even a small alcove that contained summoning contracts on tigers, dragons, and birds. He wondered why his parents have multiple summoning contracts, so he vowed to ask the old man later. To Naruto's luck, he was able to find the scroll for the Cage Bunshine technique in the non-elemental section of the library. Kyubi told him to bring it with him to study later before he retires for the night. He promised to have Naruto practice the technique tomorrow. It was almost midnight that Naruto finished inspecting his new home and retreated to the master's bedroom where he spent most of the time checking out his parents' things. He fell in love with his father's coat, but it was still too big for him to wear, so he planned to have a tailor make one for him as part of his shinobi outfit. He studied the Kage Bunshin scroll for a bit before going to bed. He knew that tomorrow would be a very long day. Next day, Naruto woke up early. Ever since he lived on his own after being kicked out of the orphanage when he was 4 years old, it has been his daily routine to wake up before the sun rises. He grumbled a bit and headed straight for the bathroom to freshen up. He saw that he didn't have enough toiletries, so he added that to his list of things to buy. He took a cold shower to wake him up as part of his routine and adjourned to the kitchen to fix himself some ramen for breakfast. He was interrupted when Kyubi suddenly voiced out his concerns regarding his choice of food. "You know, ramen will not help you become the best shinobi," the Kyubi voiced out in his mind. "What? Ramen is the best food in the world. How dare you suggest that it won't help me become the best?" ranted Naruto. "Kid, I didn't mean to insult your favorite food, but ramen won't help you much when you start with your physical training. Let's face it, what you're eating right now isn't healthy. It's because of my influence on your body right now that you're not looking malnourished. If you want your body to be in top condition, you need to eat healthy." "I will not stop eating ramen and there's nothing you can do about it." "Idiot. I didn't say that you stop eating ramen. I only suggested that you eat some healthy food aside from ramen." "Why didn't you say so in the first place?" "I just did, you idiot. Be thankful that I'm even helping you." "Thank you." "You're welcome. Why are we shouting?" "Dunno." "Hey," said Naruto with a sheepish grin. "Idiot," grumbled Kyubi. "When you're done eating, I want you to go to the training ground out back and start practicing Kage Bunshin. With your chakra reserve and tenacity, I'm sure you'll get it down with only a few tries." Naruto gave Kyubi a mental nod and quickly finished his meal. He ran to the bedroom and retrieved the Kage Bunshin scroll and rushed back down and out to the training ground. It was huge to say the least, with wooden dummies with targets painted on them so he can practice his throwing, as well as some padded logs for taijutsu practice. The shed also contained some physical training gears that would definitely help him out. He sat down on the grass, opened the scroll and started to read. He read the scroll 3 times and memorized the steps to Kage Bunshin. It requires a modified single-hand seal that required him to stretch his index and middle finger and form it like a cross with both hands. He is supposed to channel enough chakra to transfer to his clones and mold it before releasing the technique. It took him almost 2 hours to get the technique down and was surprised with the result. He was aiming for single clone to appear, but the entire training yard was covered in smoke when he shouted the technique. When the smoke disappeared, the entire yard was filled to the brim with shouting Naruto clones. His target was off the mark. He was aiming for a single clone and he got 300 instead. "This is going to take a lot of work." Kyubi informed him that he has too much chakra, so the number of clones was normal even if he tried to control the output. He practiced for another hour until he was able to reduce the clones to 100. Kyubi instructed him to assign 50 of the clones to go to the library to find chakra control exercises and the rest to start cleaning up the place. He instructed the 50 clones to go to the library to look for chakra control exercises and to start practicing them as soon as possible. The rest he told them to go to the shed out back to get some cleaning supplies and start cleaning up the entire house and ground. This got him a lot of grumbling from the clones and some shouts of lazy ass from a few. A short shouting match ensued, but they eventually left to do what he asked. Kyubi told him that the clones have his personality, so he only has himself to blame for it. He grumbled a bit but eventually gave in. While the clones were busy, Kyubi instructed Naruto to start improving his body through physical training. He told Naruto to start with running laps around the field, as many as he can for 2 hours at full speed. After a few minutes of rest, he told Naruto to start with push-ups, sit-ups, and squats 100 each. He told Naruto to increase his set by 50 once he gotten used to it. While he was running laps, Kyubi instructed Naruto to do some shopping with the Hokage later on. He needs to add more to his training equipment, even some weights powered by chakra to be used in his training. He explained that the weight would help him in increasing his overall body strength since his exercise can only do much to improve his overall physical prowess. Time skip, 2 months in training. It has been 2 months since Naruto started his physical and mental training with Kyubi as his instructor. His rants of slave driver and sadistic fox fell on deaf ears. It seems that the fox found it humorous to make his container suffer through the physical regimen. However, he can never deny the results after 2 months of hard work. Naruto can now do at least 30 laps around the training compound for 2 hours at full sprint without tiring out. When he applied training weights to his body when he first started out, practically brought the count down, but he got used to it after a while. He started out with 20 pounds on both hands and leg and upped them when he got used to the weights. In only 2 months, each of the weights is now at 100 pounds each. Kyubi advised him to maintain the weight for at least a month more before increasing them so his growth won't be stunted by the extra burden. Speaking of growth, with the addition of healthy meals, Naruto's body filled out quite nicely. He is now sporting a height of 5 feet instead of his usual 4 feet 5 inches. His muscles were showing quite nicely, but Kyubi advised him not to overdo his weight training to avoid excessive muscles that will be a problem later on. His chakra control is now in low Chunin standard. He mastered the tree walking exercise, but Kyubi advised him to continue with the said exercise while doing a full spar while sticking on the sides of the tree. Kyubi explained that a shinobi should be able to instinctively do the exercise even when in full battle. Taijutsu was slow at the moment since he found the styles in the library to be unfit for his taste. He was learning the Fox Fist from Kyubi in the Mindscape since it fits well with his build. The Fox Fist was an exclusive style of the Kitsune clan. It emulated the attack patterns of the Vulpine species using speed and exceptional agility to land hits on the target. The hits were small, but the continuous attacks can hold up to more damaging results. Kyubi also told him that his current training method was for the Fox Fist style, so he was determined to continue his physical training to be fit enough to master the style. His ninjutsu training was currently on hold since Kyubi advised him to stick with expanding his mind instead of memorizing jutsus. He informed Naruto that elemental jutsus was not in a hurry for him to learn since he can easily command his elemental orbs to do all sorts of attacks with a simple command. The Baizhu informed him that this was an advantage in the midst of battle since he is not hindered with doing hand seals to release an attack. Instead, Kyubi instructed Naruto to read through jutsu scrolls and understand how the attack worked so he can replicate it with his bloodline. Also, knowing the different jutsu practice by shinobis will give him an edge in battle. If he knows what his enemies are using against him, then he can easily come up with a counter for it. During his 2 months of scouring the Namikaze Uzumaki library, Naruto found Fuuin jutsu to be an interesting subject. The Hokage told him that his father, the Ondaime, was a seals master unrivaled in all the elemental nations, so this was enough reason for Naruto to dive into the subject with gusto. However, the Hokage instructed him to just read from the books and practice his calligraphy skills so he won't have problems later on when he starts to put it into practice. Regarding the summoning contracts, the Hokage told him that among the contracts, the dragon summoning was an heirloom of the Uzumaki clan. The tiger and the bird contract were spoils of battle by Kushina. None of them was signed except for the dragon contract. He was excited to sign all 3 contracts, but the old man forbade him to do so until his chakra control progressed to water walking to avoid unnecessary chakra drain. He also told Naruto that he might not be able to sign all the contracts since he needs express permission from the boss of each summons to do so. Speaking of the old man, he was a regular visitor to the compound. The Hokage made weekly visits to check on his progress and making sure that Kyubi wasn't hurting Naruto with his training. He definitely approved of the results. He grew closer with the old man as they made periodic walks around the village or to eat some ramen with the Ichiraku family. He also noticed that the villagers were no longer hostile to him. It seemed that the council released the information about his parentage that made all the heated glares and sneers disappear. Naruto didn't let this get to him since Kyubi told him that these people were just impressed by his name and not him alone. This made him sad for a while, but he was determined to earn their respect through his actions. Time skip. 5 months in training. Naruto's chakra control improved enough that he was able to master water walking while sparring with his clones. He was excited over the summoning contracts that made him work twice as hard, but instead of focusing on summoning animals, he diverted his attention for now to mastering his chakra manipulation bloodline. Kyubi was helpful since he was purely made of chakra. All of his attacks were purely chakra manipulation, so he was able to give Naruto much needed tips for him to accomplish some techniques that he invented on his own. Naruto found out that chakra manipulation requires both conscious thought and deep control over his chakra. During his experimentation, he found out that he needs to carefully channel chakra through his tenketsus and release them while consciously molding them to a shape he wanted it to have. It took him a month before he was able to consciously release chakra on specific tenketsu points, but it was enough to get him started. His first project was to create a blade made of chakra. Since he wanted to honor his mother by practicing kenjutsu, he tried to use a blade made of chakra since his mother's katana was too big for him to handle at his current age. He was able to create a 3-foot blade made of chakra, but he needs to improve his control if he wants to give it a sharp edge or change its size at will. It took him another month to fully master his chakra blade and finally started in learning the basics of his mother's kenjutsu style, the whirlpool blade style. It was a style that made the Uzumakas deadly in battle. The style incorporated a flowing rhythm used along with speed and agility in order to outwit their opponents, disarming them, and precise strikes for damaging results. After finishing the instructions on the scroll, he found out that his current physical training made him a beginner in the style, so he diligently practiced the basics for now before moving on to the next level. His taijutsu style improved as well. Kyubi deemed him to be at least Chunin level on the Fox Fist style. He was advised by the Baijude to practice his chakra manipulation to allow him to create chakra nails at the tips of his fingers, since most of the attacks of the Fox Fist were purely on stabbing specific weak points in the human body, as well as slashing. Naruto's training on his elemental orbs was coming along nicely. With his studies on various ninjutsu techniques, he was able to utilize specific attacks and defense according to elements. Deciding to base his attacks according to elemental attributes, he devised various defensive measures for specific elemental attacks. For example, if the enemy fired a lightning jutsu at him, then he can easily create a defense of wind, since lightning is weak against that element. He also noted on the elements that amplifies other elements as well, such as wind amplifying fire-based attacks, and stronger lightning attacks because of a target's exposure to water. This way, he can avoid using elements that will bite him in the ass later on. His Fuuin Jutsu training is currently on hold since he doesn't have any experts around to check his work. Upon reading the materials from his father, a wrong stroke or activation on unfinished or flawed seals can have devastating effects or harmful to the user. It wouldn't do much good to create a flawed sealing scroll that will turn into a bomb after applying chakra to it. He continued to just read through his dad's notes on sealing and leave it at that for now. Time skip, 1 year of training. 2 months before start of academy. With Kyubi's hellish training regimen, Naruto was now judged to be from high Chunin to low Jounin. His weights are now at 200 pounds each, but can easily stay at Chunin speed even with it on. Kyubi judged him to be at almost expert level with the Fox Fist style, and his Kenjutsu is basically at low Chunin. His chakra control progressed to the point that he can easily fight on any surface for hours without tiring. His elemental orbs can now be called an absolute defense without any holes in it if he is aware of any attacks. On a subconscious level, he was able to make it to the point that his elemental orbs can block off any elemental attacks using the opposite element, thereby strengthening his defense. Dog was more than happy to fire his jutsus at him for this practice when he was available to help Naruto out. Naruto's chakra manipulation is hampered by his large reserves. Large creations like his sword and longer nails are easy, but making something small requires him to concentrate more. He also experimented with his Kamigan during his training and found out some interesting facts about its overall abilities. When the Kamigan activate, it allowed him to see chakra. This made it easy for him to utilize his chakra manipulation techniques, since he can easily mold them to any shape if he can see what he's doing. It also lessened the concentration needed for any shape, which made it possible for him to master his chakra nails. Another interesting ability of the activated Kamigan is its total immunity with any forms of genjutsu. He found out its ability by accident when Dog was teaching him the basics of genjutsu, which is by far the worst of all his abilities. His overly large chakra reserves made it almost impossible to create any genjutsu, but it made him immune to up to lower rank genjutsus. Dog was trying to entrap him in a genjutsu during one of their spars, but he noticed that it didn't take any effect since his Kamigan was active. Dog called the spar to a halt and tested out the theory and found out that the Kamigan has an automatic defense to genjutsu, which made Naruto immune to it if it is active. They both realized that Naruto's bloodline made him immune to any attacks short of physical. Naruto was currently busy with his taijutsu practice when the Hokage paid him a visit with a serious look on his face. Chapter 6, Proving My Skills. Naruto took a break from his taijutsu training upon seeing the Hokage under the Namikaze Uzumaki compound. What made him pause, however, was the serious look on his face that always spelled trouble, which always seems to include him for some reason. "Hey Gigi. Nice of you to visit. What can I do for you?" greeted Naruto in a cheerful voice. "Good morning, Naruto. Training hard, I see?" replied the Hokage, still serious. Naruto scratched his head in embarrassment and gave the old man a goofy grin. "Yeah. Kyubi is a slave driver. He doesn't want me to slack off in my training and want me to master Fox Fist style as soon as possible. He said that it would serve me well in the future." Indeed. Having a solid grasp on a taijutsu style is basic in the shinobi arts. He paused a bit, seeming to ponder his next words carefully. "Naruto, I came with some news, though none of them are good at the moment, so maybe we can go inside your house so we can talk?" Naruto immediately picked up the seriousness of the matter, so he nodded and guided the old man to the kitchen. When the old man sat down, he hastily prepared tea for his guest. He sat down after pouring both of them a cup. "Now what do you want to talk about, old man?" asked Naruto. The Hokage didn't say anything but reached inside his robe and pulled out a small black book. He turned a few pages and handed it to Naruto. He picked it up and read what the page says. Name, Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto. Affiliation, civilian. Konoha no Sato. Rank A. Age 9. Bloodline Kamigan, God's Eye. Abilities: the target is able to command the elements to attack and defend. Taijutsu unknown, Ninjutsu unknown, Genjutsu unknown. Warning: do not underestimate despite his age. Reported to be dangerous according to sources. Ability is able to destroy large numbers in a matter of seconds. Bounty: 10 million Ryo. Status: alive, kill or apprehend on sight. Naruto was shocked. He was in a book and it looks like he is a wanted criminal. This shook him to the very core. What is the meaning of this? He looked at the Hokage's somber face. What is this, Gigi? His voice shook as he voiced out his question. The Hokage sighed. That Naruto-kun is a bingo book from Iwagakure. What is a bingo book? A bingo book is like a wanted poster for all shinobis with a bounty on their heads. It seems that Iwa got word of your inheritance. How? I don't know. I would guess that someone from the council released your information outside the village. Iwa got word of it and immediately placed you in their bingo book with a large reward. Still a child but already an A-rank nin. He chuckled over the last part. But why? I didn't do anything to them? Why would they add me in the bingo book and to be killed for Kami's sake? Why Naruto? Naruto, you need to understand that Iwa harbors a major hatred against your father, and in this case, your family. In the Third Great Shinobi War, your father decimated hundreds of Iwa shinobis with his Hiraishin. The Namikaze name is greatly feared in Iwa and it seems that this fear and hatred have carried on to you. The Hokage explained in a serious tone. Naruto sighed. I guess there is nothing we can do about this. I mean, there is no way we can just send a word to their cage and tell them to remove me from their bingo book, said Naruto in a dejected voice. Indeed. Don't worry, Naruto. I have the Anbu on the case. They are on alert around the village and my spies outside the village are monitoring all shinobis they can find just in case some of them plan to go ahead with your bounty. Thanks, old man. I guess I need to train harder so I can protect myself, said Naruto, smiling a bit over the irony of the situation. He always aimed to gain the respect of everyone through his actions, but it seems that he got the opposite. He hasn't even ventured outside the village and he is already known and feared by Iwa. It was ironic indeed. You are welcome, Naruto. Now what I want to do right now is to test you. I have no doubt that you have come a long way in the shinobi arts. I want to have a spar with you to see what you're capable of. I decided to see what you can do to alleviate this old man's fears when you become a shinobi of Konoha, said the Hokage, but you can see the excited gleam in his eyes over the prospect of battling Naruto. Sure, Gigi. When you do want to hold the spar? Asked an overexcited Naruto. Why don't we adjourn to your training ground and have our spar there? Asked the Hokage. Sure, Gigi. Let's go. He paused. Can you wait for me in the training ground? I need to change into my shinobi outfit. If you want a spar then we might as well make this a shinobi spar, right? The Hokage laughed. I wouldn't want it any other way, Naruto. See you outside. With that, the Hokage left for the training ground while Naruto went up to his room to change into his shinobi outfit. The Hokage's jaw dropped when Naruto came out of the house and into the training ground. He looked just like Minato when he was his age. It seems that Naruto emulated his father's outfit into his own battle gear. He saw that Naruto was wearing a black muscled shirt that revealed his lithe muscles underneath. He wore a dark gray cargo pants with multiple pockets that can easily hold small scrolls and supplies. He also wore a pair of black combat boots instead of the usual shinobi sandals. Holsters were strapped on both his thighs, possibly holding kunais and shurikens. Over his shirt, he wore a white robe with blue flames at the hem. The sleeves of the robe were loose and almost reached his fingers. Over his heart is the insignia of the Uzumaki Namikaze clan. On the other side, however, held a curious design. A fox with 5 tails each with a different color signifying his elements. Minato, Kushina, you would have been very proud of your son, thought the Hokage. Naruto approached the Hokage and gave him a cheeky grin. So Gigi, what do you think? The Hokage gave an approving nod. You look good, Naruto-kun. It seems that you based your shinobi outfit with your father's. It suits you perfectly as his heir. Thanks, Gigi. So how do you want to do this? Asked Naruto. Why don't we start out with the taijutsu first followed by ninjutsu? Then we can go into an all-out spar. What do you think? Naruto gave him an enthusiastic nod. Sure, Gigi. Anytime you're ready, old man. With that, Naruto went into his taijutsu stance. The Hokage saw Naruto went into a battle-ready stance. It seems that Kyubi's tutelage over the fox fist style suited Naruto very well. There were no holes in his defenses. Naruto slid into a basic stance of the fox fist style. Left leg front and right leg back. His right hand was balled into a fist and pulled back to his right hips while his left hand was out in front with hands resembling that of a claw. Overall, It was an intimidating sight. The Hokage nodded his approval over the powerful stance in front of him. He pulled off his robe to reveal his battle outfit similar to that of the Shodaime. He took off his cage hat, threw it in one corner of the training field and got into a battle stance. Naruto wasted no time in waiting. He tensed a bit then shot off at his opponent with amazing speed which shocked the Hokage. He took a swipe with his left hand which the Hokage easily dodged and lashed out with a kick to the ribs which the old man blocked an arm. The blow was definitely strong. There was a lot of power in that kick. To think that he didn't even channel chakra to amplify the blow, thought the surprised Hokage. Wanting to get this show on the road, the old man lashed out with a well-aimed punch to Naruto's chest which was swiped away that effectively opened up his defense. Naruto took action and released a punch that almost got him but was barely able to block with an arm. They continued trading blows for a few more minutes, none gaining an advantage over the other. What Naruto lacked in experience he made up with speed and agility. The Hokage, seeing that Naruto's taijutsu was effective, he decided to go all out and released a barrage of punches and kicks that slowly destroyed the young man's defense. After a few seconds of blocks and blows, the Hokage saw a hole in the young man's defense and quickly lashed out with a well-aimed kick to the chest. Naruto felt air left his lungs with the strength of the kick that sent him sprawling to one end of the training ground. He groaned but immediately got up and took up a defensive stance while waiting for his healing factor to take care of the damage. Very good, Naruto. Your taijutsu is definitely on mid-chunin level. It seems that the fox fist style suited you well. You can easily improve when you gain battle experience as you match your ability with other opponents. Now let's proceed with ninjutsu. Prepare yourself, shouted the old man and went through a series of hand seals and released his technique. Earth style, mud bullets. The Hokage took a deep breath then shot out a couple of mud bullets at Naruto with amazing speed and accuracy. Naruto was already healed when he heard the old man complimented his taijutsu and told him to proceed with ninjutsu. He was caught off guard when the old man sped through a series of hand seals and shouted an earth technique. Not wasting any time, Naruto immediately activated his Kamigan. The elemental orbs immediately materialized around him then threw his arm out willing the water orb to release a torrent of water in front of him, successfully stopping the attack. He raised another arm and commanded the wind orb to release a powerful gust of wind similar to the wind style, grand breakthrough that he read in one of the wind scrolls in his father's library. The Hokage saw this attack and sped through another set of hand seals and slammed his hands on the ground. Earth style, earth wall. A wall of earth effectively blocked the attack but the strength of Naruto's wind blew a few chunks off the defense but his attack failed to reach the old man. Seeing that the old man was able to block his attack, Naruto released the water orb from its position and commanded to take position on top of the field waiting for further commands. When he saw the old man release his defense, he shouted now. The water orb who was innocently hovering over the battlefield released a continuous stream of water that shot off to the Hokage with pinpoint accuracy. He saw this and jumped out of the way but the water seems to follow his movement like a predator to a prey. He continued to dodge but was caught off guard when he heard the crackle of lightning. He looked at the direction of the sound and saw a stream of white lightning heading his way, aiming to electrocute him. Shit, the Hokage cursed over the double attack and replaced himself with a log when the attacks hit him. Naruto saw the Hokage effectively dodging his water attacks and fired off his lightning wave for a pincer move. The attacks hit the Hokage dead center that caused a large shockwave that caused the ground to shake. When the smoke died down, all he saw was a large burnt log in the middle of the crater that his attacks created. He heard something behind him only to turn and saw a large fireball screaming towards him. Damn it! He reacted instinctively and a wall of earth shot out of the ground to block the incoming ball of fiery death. The attack was effectively cut off but the old man wasn't done yet. Seeing that Naruto was blinded because of the wall of earth he created to block his fireball, he teleported behind the boy and released a stream of red-hot fire. Fire style, Raging Inferno. Naruto felt the Hokage behind him but he was ready this time. He recalled the water orb from its vantage point on top of the battlefield to his side then commanded it to release a powerful jet of water. Both attacks collided between them causing a large amount of steam to appear. Getting tired of basic attacks, Naruto prepared his orbs for his ultimate attack that he practiced a few months back. I hope you're ready, old man. Have a taste of my ultimate technique, Naruto shouted and threw both his arms out to the Hokage. The elemental orbs followed their master's command and floated in front of his outstretched hands and got into formation. The orbs took its place in front of Naruto creating a circular formation, like that of a five-pointed star similar to his Kamigan and rotated, slowly at first then at high speed that made them appear as a blur. Without warning each orb released its own set of attacks while spinning, releasing a twirling mass of elemental barrage in a steady stream that definitely reeked of power and destruction. The Hokage saw this and paled. Each of the elemental attacks packs quite a punch, but all of them together will surely kill him. It has enough chakra to turn him into dust. In desperation, the Hokage sped through a series of hand seals for his own ultimate defense and slammed it on the ground, hoping against hope that it would hold against Naruto's powerful assault. Earth Style, Ultimate Defense, Kami's Embrace. A 7-feet-thick slab of earth appeared around the Hokage, creating a semicircular shield around him that met the attack head-on. Naruto's attack hit the thick shield of earth, causing a shockwave. The shield held, so Naruto kept the attack on, hoping to break the old man's defense. A few minutes of stalemate. Naruto was almost depleted of chakra, so he stopped the attack and promptly fell to his knees, gasping for breath. When he looked up, he saw that the Hokage's shield was sporting cracks all over, and the part that got hit by his attacks was cracked and showing signs of giving way. The Hokage felt Naruto's attack subside, so he allowed the shield to crumble and saw his surrogate grandson kneeling on the ground panting. He was proud of the boy for his achievement. That last attack was definitely powerful. The boy was young, so his chakra reserves weren't at its prime, so it is only normal for the boy to almost pass out of exhaustion after all the attacks and defenses he released during their spar. He walked over to the boy and knelt down. "Are you okay, Naruto?" Naruto took in a deep breath to satiate his craving lungs, still exhausted over the last attack. "Yeah, I'm alright. That last attack was supposed to only last for a few seconds, but I kept it up for so long that it drained me." The Hokage nodded. "Indeed. The last attack was so powerful that I have no choice but to bring out my own ultimate defense. It was one of my personal techniques that created a thick shield of earth strengthened by my own chakra. If you kept that attack up for a few more seconds, then it would have broken through and obliterated me," said the Hokage. His voice spoke of how proud he was of his achievement. "But still, I wasn't able to beat you, old man," said a dejected Naruto. "Come now, Naruto. I'm the Hokage. I should be strong enough to protect the village and those I love. I wouldn't be much of a Hokage if I was brought down easily, would you?" chuckled the old man. "You're right. Hey, I guess I was just expecting too much of myself," said Naruto, a sheepish grin on his face. "Nonsense. You did more than I expected, and proud of you, my boy. You held your own against me, and I'm sure that you can easily protect yourself when the need arises. Now, let's head over back to your home. There are some things we need to discuss, especially with the academy opening in 2 months." Naruto nodded and took one last deep breath of air, then stood up. He stretched for a bit to loosen some of the muscles before heading over to the kitchen. He brought out the leftover cake from the fridge and a pitcher of orange juice and placed it on the table. "So Gigi, what do you think of the spar?" asked Naruto, wanting to know how he fared against the Hokage. He took a slice of cake and bit a large chunk out of it. The Hokage sipped his juice and gathering his thoughts to give Naruto a proper evaluation. "Well, I can only say that I'm proud of you, my boy. The spar itself was amazing, and you were displaying skills that jounins can only dream of. Your taijutsu is easily chunin level and can even give off devastating attacks if you take time to channel chakra through them, and your speed is also at chunin level." "Hey, I knew I forgot something. I forgot to remove my training weights." "Hey," said a sheepish Naruto. The Hokage was floored. Naruto was that fast even with weights on? This kid keeps on surprising him. "How much weight do you have on, Naruto-kun?" Let me see, I'm at 200 pounds each on my wrists and legs. So I guess I have a total of 800 pounds of weights on me," said a grinning Naruto. "I see." The Hokage felt his jaw drop when Naruto told him the amount of weights on his body. He immediately agreed that Kyubi was a slave driver. Even the famed Mito guy didn't have that amount of weights when he was at Naruto's age. "So if you remove your weights, I would say that you are at jounin speed?" "Yep. According to Kyubi, I would be at mid to high jounin with my weights off," said Naruto proudly. The Hokage nodded. "Amazing. It seems that your training was quite serious, eh, Naruto? Well, let's continue with the assessment of your skills. If what you say is true, that you could have easily landed a blow when your weights is removed, so I guess your overall taijutsu is at jounin level. Your ninjutsu was indeed noteworthy, especially on how you manipulated your elemental orbs, especially for that last attack." "Can you explain it to me?" asked the Hokage. "Sure, Gigi. I don't have a name for my last attack yet. I only perfected it last month when I saw one of Dog's jutsu while we were sparring. The attack was a combination of all 5 elements. What I did was to let the orb spin in a circular formation in front of me at high speed. This way, when they released their attacks, it would come together like a drill." Aside from the elemental damage, Kyubi told me that the spinning motion of all the elements will allow it to act like a drill that is able to bypass any forms of defense. Naruto paused a bit. "I guess I can call that attack 5 elemental drill or elemental drill," he finished excitedly. The Hokage laughed at Naruto's childlike enthusiasm over the naming of his technique. "Indeed. The name suits the technique well. Now Naruto, In 2 months you will be attending the academy, so we need to talk about how you would be acting around the rest of your peers," the old man said in a serious voice. Naruto cocked his head to the side, curious over what the Hokage was insinuating. "What do you mean, Gigi?" "What I want you to do, Naruto, is to downplay your abilities. Your elemental orbs are already well known throughout the village, so you can use them as you see fit. However, I want you to downplay your overall skills to avoid alerting your enemies to what you are truly capable of. Remember, a shinobi's most powerful tool is deception, so I want you to hide your skills and only bring them out in dire situations. You can be open with your skills once you have reached the rank of Chunin," explained the Hokage. "He has a point, kid. Not only will you bond with your peers, but you will surely have the element of surprise when you are in battle. If they don't know what you can do, then they will be unprepared for it," advised Kyubi. He was proud of his container. The battle was indeed amazing. The way he used his elements to attack and defend was noteworthy. The last attack definitely has potential, especially when Naruto's development reaches his prime. "Okay, old man. I'll do that," said Naruto. "Thank you, Naruto. Also, I want you to expand your supplemental jutsus. Since you already have the elemental techniques down, I want you to increase your survival rate using supplemental ninjutsus. You didn't use any of it in battle, so I guess you didn't take that into consideration during your training." "Supplemental jutsus? What are those?" asked a confused Naruto. "Those are the basic jutsus taught in the academy. You already have the Bunshine, Clone, technique down, so you might want to expand your repertoire with Kawarimi, Substitution, Henge, Transformation, and maybe Shunshine, High-Speed Teleportation. This will greatly aid you in battle." Naruto was excited in learning those techniques. They sound interesting to say the least. He immediately created 5 shadow clones and instructed them to go to the library and search those techniques out and any other supplemental jutsus that he would want to learn. The Hokage chuckled over Naruto's enthusiasm and laughed outright when he created shadow clones and instructed them to go to the library to search those techniques out. Things will definitely be fun in the future with Naruto on the job. Chapter 7, When Summons Collide. Naruto spent the last 2 months before attending academy with physical training, as well as getting to know his summons well. It didn't take much for them to agree to have him sign all 3 contracts at once, but the argument that broke over who would be his primary summon took quite a while to solve. Flashback 1 month before academy starts. Naruto was in the training field preparing himself to sign the summoning contracts. He, along with the Hokage, decided to get this done because the aid of summons would greatly help him in the future. The Hokage told Naruto to start first with the Dragon Summon contract since it is part of his inheritance and it wouldn't take much for him to be accepted by the boss. "So Gigi, what should I do first?" asked the Hokage while laying down the 3 summoning contracts on the grass. "Open up the Dragon Summoning contract first. You need to sign your name on the contract with your blood, then finish it off by stamping your handprint in blood on top of your name. After doing so, all you need to do is to perform a couple of hand seals and channel as much chakra as you can while shouting out the technique." Naruto did as he was instructed and opened the Dragon Summoning contract first. He saw that the last entry was signed by his mother and a wave of nostalgia flowed through him. He considered it an honor to follow his mother's footsteps and become the next Dragon Summoner, that is if he is accepted by the boss summon. He bit into his thumb and signed his name on the contracts and dipped each finger of his right hand on the bleeding thumb to get some blood on it, then stamped it down above his name. He rolled the scroll up, took a deep breath to calm himself, then flashed through the hand seals that the Hokage showed him earlier while gathering as much chakra he could, then slammed his right hand on the ground with a shout summoning technique. A large puff of smoke covered the entire training field. After dispersing, it revealed a large dragon almost as tall as the Hokage monument. It was covered in bluish-white scales that covered it from the head to the top of its tail that reflected the rays of the sun, making it look like finely cut sapphires. The dragon sported a mane of silvery hair that separated the head from its long body. The head was definitely one to inspire awe and fear, more so with the rest of its stature. The eyes of the dragon was of deep cerulean blue like Naruto's own, and one whisker on each side of the nose. It released a loud roar that resounded all throughout the village. He looked down towards Naruto. "Who summoned me?" "The leader of the dragon clan." The dragon bellowed in a loud voice. Naruto calmed himself real quick. It would do much good to faint dead in front of such majestic creature even if he was justified to do so. I did," stuttered Naruto. The dragon, seeing Naruto admit that he was the summoner, lowered his head to get a good look at the boy. He sniffed and smelled the faint scent of the Uzumaki clan that he remembered a decade ago. Indeed, this was her child then. "Who are you, young one, and why have you summoned me?" asked the gigantic summon. "My name is Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto Dragon-sama," replied Naruto in a confident tone. "Uzumaki? Interesting. Tell me, boy. Where did you get the contract? I found the contract in my family's library. The old man told me that the dragon summoning contract is a part of my mother's inheritance. There is truth to your words, boy. Now tell me, who is your mother? My mother is Uzumaki Kushina Dragon-sama. The dragon was now very interested in the child. This was Kushina's boy. You are Kushi-chan's child? Getting a nod from Naruto, he continued. Tell me, child, why have you summoned me? I signed the contract in hopes of following my mother's footstep to become the next summoner of the Dragon Clan, replied Naruto with a heavy overtone of determination in his voice. This surprised the dragon a bit. It seems that Kushina's determination appeared true to her child, but not everyone can just sign the contract and become the next dragon summoner, and hopefully the dragon sage as well. He needs to pass the test first. That is a worthy goal, child. But in order for you to be accepted by the Dragon Clan, you need to pass my test first. Are you ready, child? Know that once you failed in the test, then there is no second chance. I will take the dragon contract with me until we find the next worthy summoner for our clan. Do you wish to proceed, child? Said the dragon, trying to scare the boy to see if his determination is true. Naruto didn't back down and wasn't scared, to say the least. Hearing the repercussion of the test didn't faze him one bit. Instead, he just glared at the dragon and showed fiery determination in his eyes. Bring it on. I'm not scared. This brought forth a healthy chuckle from the immense summon. We shall see, child. My test is the test of the soul. I will be seeing your life and decide then if you are fit to be the holder of my clan's contract. He moved his head closer to the boy that brought them face to face, which was a feat in itself since the dragons had alone dwarfed Naruto by a large margin. Enough. The dragon bellowed. Look deep into my eyes, child, and let me into your soul. The dragon looked into Naruto and saw his life bared for him to see. He saw the fierce determination that allowed the boy to go through with his rigorous training. He was shocked that the boy also holds the Kyubi like his mother before him. He growled at the beatings and glares he got from the villagers and was curious over the evolution of his bloodline, but despite everything that the child has seen and experienced, the courage and determination of his is unsurpassed. The dragon decided there and then that this child is a worthy summoner for his clan. The dragon released his metal link with the boy and boomed in a loud, yet soft voice. I find you worthy to be the Dragon Clan summoner Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto. You have faced rough challenges in your life, but you faced it head-on with enough courage and bravery of that of an entire army. You may address me as Siryuo, the boss of the Dragon Clan, and you may summon me and my clan for any task you wish. My only advice that you stay true to your goal in life and don't let your determination and courage waver despite the future you have chosen to thread. Naruto nodded and was glad that he was accepted by the great dragon in front of him. He bowed low to the dragon boss. My gratitude to you, Siryuo-sama. I promise that I will uphold the Dragon Clan's honor as its summoner and will not abuse this gift that you allowed me. The dragon chuckled. Indeed, child. Is there anything else you wish of me before I return to my home? Asked Siryuo. I wonder if you would allow me to sign other contracts? Asked Naruto. The dragon gave him a long look, pondering the request. Tell me, child, why would you want to sign other contracts that you already have one that is more powerful than the rest? Queried Siryuo. To be honest, I don't have reason for doing so, Siryuo-sama. The only reason I could think of when the thought occurred to me is to honor my mother by using the contracts that she has gained during her time as a shinobi. I wasn't sure if such a thing was allowed, so I would like to ask your permission, as my clan summon, if it is allowed. The boss dragon pondered over the boy's request. Which contracts were you planning to sign? The tiger and bird contract. Naruto informed the dragon. Oh? Those contracts have been thought lost over the ages. It seems that Kushi-chan has found them and kept them as her own. I give my permission to sign other contracts and would ask of you to treat them as you would treat my clan. The Tiger and Bird clan have been close friends with my kind, so this wouldn't go against any treaty between summons. I will inform them upon my return to my plane. Summon them in an hour so they may know about you. The dragon gave his approval that disappeared in a large puff of smoke. Both Naruto and the Hokage released the breath they were holding with a large sigh. Being under the shadow of the great dragon was too much for them to handle. They both know that the Dragon Clan is one of the strongest summon in the summoning realm, and insulting one is tantamount to suicide. The Hokage released a throaty chuckle. Naruto just looked at him, confused by the sudden laughter. What's wrong, Gigi? Oh, nothing, Naruto-kun. It's just that you keep surprising me. Not only did you gain the allegiance of one of the strongest summoning clans in the entire nation that dwarfed the Sannin Zone, but he gave you permission to sign the others as well. Really? Is the Dragon Clan really that strong? Asked Naruto. The Hokage nodded. Yes, there are 4 legendary summons that existed since the time of the Rikudo Sennin, the Dragon Clan and the Phoenix Clan, to name a few. But that's a story for another time. This got a pout from Naruto, and seeing his face made the Hokage release another set of chuckles. "Why don't we get something to eat? You need to replenish your chakra reserve since you will be summoning the 2 other contracts you have." I don't have any idea about the tiger and bird contracts since there's been no record of them here in Konoha, so it would be best to prepare for the worst. This got a nod from Naruto, and both adjourned to the kitchen to make some snacks and pass the time. Time skip. 1 hour after meeting the dragon boss, Naruto and the Hokage was again in the training yard preparing for the next set of summons. "By the way, Naruto, when you summoned Shiryu, how much chakra did it take to bring him here?" asked a curious Sarutobi. Naruto pondered for a bit. It didn't really eat up a lot of chakra for him to summon Shiryu, but compared to his reserves it would probably take Jounin level. "I guess it took about a fifth of my reserves, Gigi," he admitted to the old man. Sarutobi did a double take. A fifth of Naruto's current chakra supply was comparable to that of a Jounin level ninja. Usually, summons would only require just a small amount of chakra to initiate the transfer, but for Naruto to reveal that it ate up a fifth of his supply, then it would definitely knock out any seasoned Jounin just by summoning the boss. As far as he knew, it didn't take that much to even summon his Enma or Jiraiya's Gamabunta. He guessed that not everyone is capable of summoning a legendary summon, like Shiryu. "Okay Naruto-kun. How is your chakra supply now?" "I'm at full capacity, Gigi. I don't know why Kyubi replenished my chakra stores without me asking. He just told me to prepare for the next set of summons. He even suggested to do both at the same time." "What do you think?" asked Naruto. "Well, if Kyubi said so, then you might as well do it. He hasn't let you down as of yet, so there is no reason not to trust him," replied Sarutobi. "For now," he added as an afterthought. Naruto just shrugged and opened up both contracts at the same time. He signed the bird contract first, followed shortly by the tiger. He closed both after signing, then gathered double the chakra he used to summon Shiryu, then slammed his hand on the ground while shouting out the technique. This time, the smoke that appeared was larger than his previous attempt. In fact, the ground was covered with them along with the surrounding woods. This scared Sarutobi a bit, since only very large summons could produce this much smoke when they appeared. When the smoke cleared, what he saw definitely scared him to the bones. This wasn't any ordinary contract. Like Shiryu, the bird and tiger contract was also legendary contracts. The bird was no ordinary bird. It was a phoenix, one of the legendary summons. It was as tall as Shiryu. Its feathers were a mix of gold and red that made it look like it was on fire. Its wingspan was impressive, possibly able to cover half of Konoha when stretched out. If his memory served him right, this was the phoenix summon, Suzaku. The tiger was the same size as Suzaku. It was none other than the legendary white tiger, Byakko. He decided that either Naruto was amazing or just plain suicidal. Naruto was starting to get scared now. He thought Shiryu was impressive, but nothing prepared him when these two appeared. He thought that the tiger and bird contract were minor summons, but from the looks of these two, they were anything but that. He looked at the Hokage, who was also pale and looked a bit scared. "Jigi, I thought that the bird and tiger were minor contracts. They don't look ordinary to me," Naruto said in a scared voice. "Naruto, it seems that these are not ordinary contracts that your mother acquired. I understand the dragon contract, since it has been rumored that it is a part of the Uzumaki clan, but to summon these two as well, then I can only say that either you're an amazing boy with the blessings of Kami herself, or you're plain suicidal." This got a shocked look from Naruto. "It seems that your luck is with you today, boy. You just summoned 2 others of the legendary summons. The bird is a phoenix named Suzaku. It seems that he is the boss of the bird clan. The tiger is the legendary white tiger Byakko. Indeed, we are human. Along with Suzaku and Shiryu, we are the legendary summons," bellowed Byakko, who then released a loud roar similar to that of the boss dragon. Suzaku didn't say anything but lowered her head, giving Naruto a leer which scared the poor boy. "So this is the boy that Shiryu told us about. He is indeed impressive, don't you think?" Suzaku asked Byakko. "He doesn't look much. He is rather short," snorted Byakko. Naruto hated being called short. Sure, he was short for his generation, but it wasn't his fault. He activated his Kamigan and the elemental orbs appeared around him. He glared at Byakko and shouted, "Shut up, furball. If you think I'm short, then come down here and I'll give you an ass-kicking that you will never forget." Sarutobi was scared stiff now. Naruto just insulted Byakko, one of the legendary summons. He prayed to Kami that he would survive this ordeal. He prayed hard that Konoha would survive this. A loud chuckle and an amused screech interrupted him from his so-called prayer. Shiryu was right. This boy is definitely one of a kind. It's not every day that a boy would insult me like this, he bellowed while continuing to chuckle. He looked at Naruto, who was fuming for being called short, and chuckled some more, which didn't bode well with the blonde boy. Calm down, child. I was just testing the bravery that Suryuo complimented so much when he brought you to our attention. He definitely has a lot of spunk to him, doesn't he? He wouldn't be a bad summoner for us. Suzaku looked at Naruto then. Boy, why don't you summon Suryuo? There are some things we need to discuss with him. It's not every day that we three have the same summoner. There are some things that need to be settled. Naruto nodded to the request and took a deep breath to calm himself down. He gathered the required chakra, did the seals for the fourth time today, then slammed his hand on the ground. Another large puff of smoke appeared in between the two legendary summons, which revealed an amused Suryuo. It hasn't been a day yet and you brought me out again, young one. What seems to be the problem? I don't know, Suryuo-sama. Suzaku-sama and the white furball over there asked me to summon you back here. He pointed an accusing finger at a grumbling Byakko. Suryuo just gave his fellow summon an amused look. You insulted him, didn't you? Among all of us, you have always been one to have a runaway mouth, Byakko. Oh, shut up, you old pile of scales. I didn't know that the kid doesn't like to be called short. Byakko was interrupted by a large rock that conked him on the head. He looked down and saw a red-faced Naruto with another rock floating in front of him ready to throw again. Don't call me short, you overgrown pile of fur. How dare you throw a rock at me, you pitiful human. Human am I. Here's another one for you, your majesty. With that, he threw another rock at Byakko, which hit him on the nose that caused him to sneeze. Suryuo was currently laughing his head off and Suzaku was currently sprawled on the ground, rolling in laughter. Byakko huffed. Shut up, you two. Oh no. This is just too much. Byakko, the white tiger of the legendary summons, was conked on the head by a small, young boy, bellowed Suryuo, which hastily changed the small adjective before the boy set his sights on him. I am so telling everyone about this. Ha ha ha, screeched Suzaku. Fine fine. I'll let it go this once, sure. He paused when he saw the boy create another rock, this one larger than the first two. I mean boy, growled Byakko. Just don't call me short. Naruto huffed while crossing his arms over his chest and looked away. This brought a chuckle from the three legendary beasts. When Suryuo got his composure back, he looked over at his fellow summons. Why have you asked Naruto to summon me? Simple, now that the kid has signed and got accepted by all three of us. We need to decide who becomes the primary summon, said Byakko. Oh? I thought that is already decided. Since he is an Uzumaki, then it only stands to reason that I become his primary summon. Calmly replied Suryuo. Oh no, you don't, you old prune. We are all the same rank here, so it's not right for you to become his primary summon. I won't have any dragon lording over me. Huffed Suzaku. Well, tough luck, you old bag of feathers. He signed my contract first, so I technically hold superiority over both of you, said Suryuo, defending himself. Shut up, Suryuo. Why don't we three deck it out and the winner becomes Naruto's primary summon? Byakko suggested, itching to get a fight. I agree. It has been a while since we all three went all out in a fight, Suzaku agreed. All three were about to attack each other when a huge gust of wind hit them head on. The wind was powerful enough to push them back. They looked down to see that Naruto was panting on the ground, possibly from exhaustion from releasing such a powerful attack just to get their attention. It wasn't easy. After all, they are legendary summons after all. Naruto took a deep breath to get some air back to his lungs. He already felt Kyubi laughing his head off while replenishing his chakra supply. He growled and looked at the three summons with a glare. Don't you dare fight here. You'll destroy my house. You'll destroy all of Konoha for Kami's sake, shouted Naruto. Well then, young one. How do you think we should settle this dispute? Said Suryuo, humoring the child's outburst. Naruto thought about it at first and asked the three summons in front of him. Why do I need a primary summon anyway? What's the big deal of having a primary summon? Suzaku chose to answer the boy. Young one, when someone is worthy or powerful enough to summon one of us, then they are automatically our representatives in this world. He will become a sage taught by our arts and techniques when they reach the proper age and power. So because there are three of us, then it is not possible for you to become a sage when all three of us are your primary summons. Why is that? I mean, there is nothing wrong in becoming a sage for you three. Asked a confused Naruto. Look here, kid. It's not that simple. Becoming a sage means that you get a part of our powers. One of us alone will practically boost your powers, that you will easily become the strongest among the elemental nations. Kami has set this rule, so we can't just easily bestow you with all of our abilities. No human should be that powerful. There are limits to these types of things. Explained Byakko. Then don't. If you're just going to argue all day, then I refuse to become a sage. I can live without your gifts anyway. I'll get strong on my own. Believe it, declared Naruto. He has always relied on his own strength and he survived so far without any help, so why would this be any different? This shocked all three summons at the same time. This kid is refusing their gifts that would practically make him the most powerful being on the planet. No human should be able to resist the temptation of power. The lure was just too much. But this kid just scoffed their gifts and just prefers them to be as summons. This kid just keeps amazing them. He is either selfless or just plain stupid. Shiryu, Suzaku, and Byakko just gave each other long looks as if communicating with their eyes alone. It seems that Naruto just passed another test. This time, he passed Kami's loophole when such an event happened. It was Shiryu who spoke for the three of them. Congratulations Naruto. You passed another one of our tests, or to be more precise, you passed Kami's test. Naruto just gave all three of his summons a long and confused look. What do you mean I passed the test? I thought I was already accepted as your summons? Indeed. You did pass our test individually and you have become our summoner. However, you passed another test. An unspoken test set by Kami herself when more than one legendary summon has the same summoner. Okay. I'm really confused. Can you please explain it to me? Asked Naruto. It is simple young one. You see, Kami herself foresaw that it is possible for our summoning contracts to befall on the same summoner, so it is very possible for our special group to have the same summoner. Considering the rule in bestowing our summoner some of our powers, Kami herself made a loophole. A test you might say to see if the person is granted that specific loophole. Suzaku explained to the blonde boy. And what test did I just pass? Simple. You passed the test of power. You see, it has always been human nature to crave more power. However, there are reasons for such a person to do so. They will either want the power to rule others, to avenge, or even to kill. However, you changed all that. When you saw that we were arguing over the power we can bestow upon you, you made up your mind to forego such gifts and simply rely on your own strength. That shows your determination to rise above others without having to accept power from others. So you passed Kami's test. Crowed Suzaku, proud of his new summoner. So since I passed this test, do I still become a sage, and who will become my primary summon? Yes, you will become a sage, but instead of being taught our arts, you will be given specific gifts or abilities that we think you might need for the future. Regarding primary summons, well, we all would be your primary summon. So we will be giving you our own brand of summoning contract as befitting of our understation. Finished Suzaku. She looked at the others and nodded their heads. She rose to her full height and bellowed, Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, do you accept to be the summoner of the bird clan? Naruto bowed. Yes Suzaku-sama, said Naruto with a voice filled with utter determination and conviction. Good. Then hold out your arm and receive my contract with you. Naruto held out his right arm and Suzaku shot a stream of fire directly at Naruto, who didn't even flinch from the incoming flame. Instead of burning Naruto to a crisp, the flame compacted and raced towards his bicep. He felt a small burn, then the flame disappeared, revealing a phoenix tattoo with the same colors as Suzaku. It was both intimidating and beautiful. If you need to summon me or my clan, all you need to do channel your chakra to the tattoo and we will appear. This time, Shiryu spoke. Young one. I know that I have already accepted you as the Dragon Clan summoner, but protocol must be followed. Seeing Naruto nod, he continued. Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, will you accept the responsibility befitting to that of the Dragon Clan summoner? Naruto bowed again and addressed his first summon. I agree Shiryu-sama. Very well boy. Make the Dragon Clan proud of your actions. Hold out your right arm to receive my contract. A bright blue lightning shot out from Shiryu's mouth and wound itself on Naruto's wrists. When the lightning disappeared, it revealed a dragon tattoo wrapped around Naruto's wrist. It bore the likeness of Shiryu biting its own tail. This is similar to Suzaku's mark. To call me in the Dragon Clan, just concentrate your chakra to my tattoo. Byakko growled to catch Naruto's attention. I hate formalities, but oh well. He drew himself to his full height. Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, do you accept the duty involved in being the summoner of the Tiger Clan? Naruto was about to call him furball but remembered at the last minute the situation he was in. So he reined in his childish side and addressed the white tiger properly as befitting of its station. I accept, Byakko-sama. I will uphold the honor and duty as befitting of a tiger summoner. Byakko nodded in admiration over Naruto's conviction. Good, hold out your right arm to receive my contract. He opened his mouth and shot a beam of compressed light towards the back of Naruto's hand. He felt his hand numbed a bit when the back of his hand was hit by the light, but he just ignored it. The light disappeared and revealed a tattoo of a roaring Byakko. When the ceremony was finished, Naruto was admiring his new tattoos when Shiryu spoke. Congratulations Naruto. You have become our summoner. You may summon anyone from our clan for anything you wish of us and we will comply with the best of our abilities. The only thing we ask of you is to treat us with respect and we will return it tenfold. Also, summon us 3 years from now to receive our gifts to you. With that, he puffed back to the summoning realm. Farewell for now, Naruto-kun. Suzaku crooned before puffing away back to the summoning realm, leaving a blushing Naruto behind. Well, bye for now, shorty. He puffed away before he was hit by a rock the size of his head from an irate Naruto who was contemplating whether to summon the furball so he can hit him again for calling him shorty. Naruto drew in a deep breath to calm himself down. This has been a hell of a day. That's the end, guys. If you enjoyed, then make sure to leave a comment. This is Chaos Shinobi signing off.